All right, welcome everyone. Josh, go ahead. Introduce everybody.
All right, so this is supposed to be the sales episode.
Wait a minute. I can't even hear you, bro.
Can you hear me?
No, yeah.
Test. Hello. Hello.
Hello, test. There we go.
There
Okay,
you go.
perfect.
There
Yeah, I
you
can
go.
hear you.
My bad.
All right, we're live and we're good?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was trying to think when I was deciding who I wanted on the panel here for sales. And I think it's interesting. We all have different sales kind of backgrounds, even with you. So I kind of want to explore that. But I want some intros. So let's start with here. Evan, what you do, and we'll just go like around the room.
So I run a sales company. Obviously, I'm the general manager. We do home warranties, which is what you guys were saying is pretty niche. Before I even got into it, I never heard about it. Didn't think you could make money in it at all, and come to find out you can. So that's what I currently do now. I run and operate the whole office. So that's what I'm currently in charge of at the moment.
Awesome.
Cool. So my name is Patrick. I'm an attorney. I have my own firm. So it's all about sales. So you have to have clients. You got to be a business person before you're an attorney to essentially have those clients to keep you afloat. So it's all about sales. It's all about, getting the client, obtaining them, and doing what you're paid to do. So it's all about marketing and that aspect of it as well.
Very cool. Rob?
My name is
Wait.
Rob.
What are we gonna skip, me and you, or
Oh,
just
my
go
bad. My
straight to
bad.
them?
My bad. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay.
Need my props. Come on, man.
Well, I'm an engineer, but I do sales also. Trying to be on the phone like 9 hours a day.
My name is Rob Kakish. We have a finance firm, and that's what we do: wealth management, asset protection, your standard life insurance, mortgage protection, and that's where we're at. 4 years in the making.
My name is David Roman. I'm in asset management and retirement. Basically, the premise of my business is just mostly education, just bringing that passion. In this day and age, you have a lot of people that are suffering from lack of retirement. So that's what I specialize in.
And Josh, you didn't introduce yourself.
Yeah, so my name's Josh. I have two businesses. One is Gatsby, which is like a nightlife business, and then I have a lead generation business. So I do sales a lot on that side more than the Gatsby side. So yeah, I'm just interested in seeing what everyone does to actually succeed in sales.
Well, before we get there, that's a good question, but you also posed another good question here. So how important is sales? Is sales the most lucrative career in your opinion? And we'll start on that side of the room.
Absolutely. I think in life, what you realize when you do get into sales, you don't realize it right away, but every day that you're out and about, you're selling yourself. You're selling everything that you have to do with anything that's about you. So when you get into an industry where there's no ceilings, it's pretty much up to you, which is amazing. Like there's no other job where you can come in there and make more than a doctor and you don't have to have any experience at all, which myself didn't go to college, never did any of that. And to say that you can do that just because you're good at speaking and getting people to like you and helping them is amazing. I think that's...
So you're saying it's really selling yourself.
You want to sell yourself, but also the reason why people are successful in sales is because they're empathetic towards whoever they're talking to. So if you're a good person and you're generally trying to help and you believe in your product, it's very easy to sell someone because people see through a lot of that. So if you're going to be fake, they spot that. It's on a subconscious level if people can feed out the bullshit.
Besides like seeming genuine or fake, because that's a real thing that comes off. What are some other examples of selling yourself?
I mean, everything, how you present yourself, not only like you as a person, but how do you come off when you first meet people? What's your
First impressions.
First impressions, that's lasting. So, I mean, like, how do you come off to people when you first meet them? Because, the saying, you only get one first impression. How do you come off that way? That almost dictates how people look at you. So you always want to have a good first impression in anything you do.
It's what they see first, and then what comes out of your mouth that first second.
100%. So it's really hard to backtrack if you have a really bad first impression, because you want to make sure that everybody knows who you are, and you want to make sure at the end of the day, it's who you are, like your authentic self, which you were mentioning too as well.
Okay, next.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So it's all about sales.
Let me rephrase
Yeah,
the question
sure.
for you. How important is sales? Is sales the most lucrative endeavor?
I think sales are very important. So without sales, you're not going to be able to succeed, right? So you can't keep the lights on. You can't run a business with no money. So you have to make that sale. You have to get that money in order to succeed. So I think it goes hand in hand. And as far as the second part of that question, yeah, it's very lucrative. It can be for sure, depending on the sale. But I also agree with what we're talking about. You got to sell yourself, and you have to be genuine in that regard, because anyone can advertise, right? But it's just about what that product is and what that service you're providing is, and that could be a very lucrative thing. The sky's the limit, essentially, depending on what you're selling.
I do have a question for you, because the interesting part for me is like you actually have performative sales, right? Because you're in a courtroom.
Right.
So you actually have to do a lot of things that like I don't have to do. I'm behind the phone. Nobody sees me. Sometimes I'm in my PJs.
Yeah.
Tell me about like how you develop your ability to actually, because you have to sell the jury.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm not selling a product, right? You can't just return what you're buying. It's not a good that you can move around and put in your pocket. I'm selling a service. And so with that service comes with that experience. And that's kind of what we were talking about earlier, is that service I'm providing is something that it takes years and years of experience to get. So selling in a courtroom, whatever the case may be, is you're not just making sales, you're providing the service to your clients. And then you're also trying to do the best you can in front of 12 random jurors, trying to convince them that the prosecution's case doesn't satisfy them.
But going back to what he said, and then his question, performative sales. Did you mean like performance? Like you're an actor, and then like you have to actually sell yourself.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. It's almost harder to sell yourself in person because it's a lot easier. I mean, if you know anything about psychology, sociology, you can spot a lot of things in person a lot easier than you can over the phone. People, you ask someone a question directly. Oh, they look away. Oh, they move their hair. Oh, they start to sit differently. Like, it's much harder to sell yourself in person, but it's also easier to sell yourself in person if you know how to do those things. But people almost don't. So it makes it really easy to spot people.
Yeah, 100%. So what the problem is with a lot of people in our industry is, are they competent in what they're doing, right? So like you're saying, the world that I'm in it's win or lose, and I have to win every day, because if I lose, someone's going to prison, someone's going to jail. So I have to market that. I have to know what I'm doing and be creative in arguments and presenting that case and attacking it.
Do you practice in the mirror or on video?
No.
Why?
I don't think it depends on your style, right? So if I
feel like if I was trying to act in front of people, I would probably practice it in the mirror or on video.
I personally do.
At the very least on audio, like 100 times just to get that shit down.
No, I think it comes with my experience that I was thrown into the fire. My first week at the job, I got my first trial. So you're getting that experience, and with that experience comes confidence. So I don't need to necessarily rehearse it because it's going to come off stage. I just want to be genuine. You get what you get, and this is the service I'm providing. So,
and you're good at it.
Yeah.
So you're confident enough to freestyle it, and then like say, fuck all the practice. I'm trying to get the firsthand experience.
Yeah, everyone's style is different, but if I were to like rehearse it, I'm gonna get in my head about, is that the right line or is it wrong? I'm just gonna go in there and I'm gonna use my experience.
But what do you think the top guys do in your field? The guys who are on the top 1%, top 0.0000 whatever percent.
Right. I think it's their experience, and I think they flow with that, and I think they get creative with the experience that comes with the years and years and looking at everything. It's something that you can't rehearse in this business.
You know how they say gift of gab? Do you guys all believe in that?
I was about to say that. I think I was literally going to bring that up. I think that has to play into that. So at the end of the day, there's a lot of people that I've learned in my industry that are, you can show everyone how to do it, but sometimes you just got to have that thing that you can't teach.
So going into the psychology of it real quick, is that being an introvert, extrovert, and a story?
No, because for my experience, I was always very introverted. But when I got into sales, you have to be an extrovert. You have to, because if you're not comfortable with who you are, talking to someone, you're not going to sell anybody.
But I heard most of the billionaires are actually introverts, right?
So that's why I said I started off as an introvert. You're always going to have that in you, but you have to sometimes become someone you got to kind of portray that to make sure that you succeed in whatever you're doing. So you have to be an extrovert. Maybe you're not. Like at the end of the day, like when I get off work, I don't like to really talk to a whole lot of people, but on the phone, you think I was the most, we're going out and talking to everybody, but no, you have to become that person to get. Because
I'm only talking to you for like a minute at the most if it was up to me, and I only have so much patience. So
100%. Yeah.
All right, Rob, you're the sales guru here. You're actually building, scaling teams, sales every day, all day. I see you. So tell me about your experience. The question, most lucrative field out there?
Absolutely. That's without the doubt. We have kids that are coming in like Tate, 19 years old. We got 22-year-old kids who are clearing $250,000, $300,000, $400,000. And the reasoning why sales is so lucrative is because the world is based on people, right? Life is based on relationships, right? What is the worst thing that you can do to somebody in prison? Solitary confinement, right? When you're alone. So the world continues to evolve because the world is a people business, right? And
That's a good point, man.
And your ability to effectively communicate. So there's two different standards there. And even before sales, that's what we teach on at my firm is, okay, there's a script. I can teach anybody a script in 5 minutes, right? But can you flow that script? Can it be like the back of your hand? Your ability to communicate is a transfer of energy, right? How everybody is talking, you're going to feel that person's energy right away. So while you're talking, that other person is feeling that energy, right? So the effective communicator is always going to win. And the reasoning for that is you got to communicate so clear that the other person on the opposing side, they really can't argue, right? So it's logic, empathy, and being personable. So what we tell our people is like, hey, none of this is transactional. Do not be transactional with any of our clients. It's all relationship building, right? Which is a long-term game. So effective communication, you'll win all the time and you'll make the most money you ever made. So is sales the most lucrative? Absolutely.
Quick question for you, because one of the reasons why I wanted to come on this podcast is I have a question directly for you. What's up with life insurance?
So life insurance, if you asked this to me a few years ago, there's a lot of other companies out there where you have to harass family and friends and you got to get insurance like that. That would never happen here. My dad would put me in a chokehold. Okay, that's not what we do. I come from I was a director of finance years ago. So for me to pop off and do what I did, that would never happen. So what we did is I became an independent agent by myself. I said I left corporate America. I was doing well, thank God. I was doing well, but I'm like, I can't stand this corporate life. If I'm doing 70 hours a week, I got to figure this out for myself. So I became an independent agent. I was like, you know what? Let me get my license. I got my license and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to call any family and friends. I got to find some type of lead. Who is inquiring about my business? Okay, I'm not there yet. I'm competing with AAA, all these big companies. What do I got to do? So I found a source with some very inexpensive leads. So I bought those leads. I spent $1,000.
So follow-up question.
Wait. You don't have to spend $1,000, by the way. You could just go on Google sometimes, free. Just pay a Fiverr guy, like some whatever, for the hours, and then pull 1,000 leads that way too. So it could cost way less than $1,000 too.
If you can give me leads for $5, give me those too.
But follow-up question. Everybody's in sales. What makes you different?
So
what makes your company different?
The reason why we're growing at a rate and, we're issuing $600,000 in paid out commissions every 30 days is because of the systems of operations that we have set, right? So instead of the old way of insurance, what we did is I reversed engineered all of the complaints of other insurance agents, right? They said there's no leadership, there's no training, there's no proper CRM and software, there's no leads. We have to continue to process
Best CRM, by the way, Google Sheets. Best, I swear. I tried all the other shit, Google Sheets.
We use that too.
Hey,
plus a million other things. If you could put AI in that
Okay. Can you talk about that? How is AI actually going to be like, hello, how many and ask questions for you and then hear it and record it and you listen to the recordings? Because I have no idea how that AI shit works.
Good question. So that's a gray area. So for the AI that we ended up putting into our software, you can upload leads, right? So we have big negotiations with big companies on lead vendors, okay? And that's why, to answer your question, why we've scaled so much, because we're completely lead based. So we have unlimited amount of people asking for our service.
So someone like you, and I think we have the same mindset this is why I'm going to ask you this question. AI is great, that's amazing. But at the end of the day, why people buy from you and your sales rep is because they're buying the person. They feel a connection with them.
Okay, but I have something in addition to say to you. I thought you were going somewhere else with this.
That's just a cherry on top.
Technology is only a supplement. You do 99% of the work and try to expect the AI to do 1%. You don't try to expect the AI to be like making up for the 9 hours you need to put in a day to collect that data.
100%. But can AI replace almost human empathy and a feeling that you get because a lot of the times when I sell people, they're buying me.
There's this test.
100%. And they trust me enough to even give me their credit card, do all these things. Can AI even?
There's this test.
Not right now. Like that's what makes people different. I know, me too. I'll be out of a job real quick.
Just about AI. When it gets to the point when they can be better than you and have more empathy than you, I think there's a saying, there's a test for that. It's like the Turing test.
Yeah.
Like you won't be able to know anymore.
You wouldn't even know who you're talking
Then
to.
yes, but we're not there yet in 2024.
But isn't it nice to know that like you can build your team a certain way to where you can't even get replaced because you're buying someone because they actually trust you and they value you and they're going to give you their card. They're going to do all these things for you because they feel a connection with you.
Agreed.
So I mean, connections. That's like
Massive,
number one,
and
right?
massive. And for
Sales.
the AI part, exactly what you said and what you said. It's just a cherry on top. All AI is, it's supplementing the time that you're not there, right? So let's say my guy, let's say he's at the firm and he's drilling 10 hours in, but he goes to lunch or he has to take care of something that we need taken care of. The AI in there is continuing to drip on those leads. So it continues to nourish and revive people until we get a. So that's all it is.
Doesn't
Supplement.
replace.
That's the word. That's a supplement. And because of the systems of operations that we put in, we can put anybody who has no sales experience, put them into our plug and play system and allow them to get a return on investment based on our 2-week procedure.
It helps you work smarter, not harder a lot of times.
And it assists with that for sure.
all right,
Now,
love
is the hard work there? And of course it's there.
Yeah.
You know, we're working right now. It's 24 hours, 7 days a week. You know, that's what this is. But that's the ability of a 1%er, right? While everybody's taking off, what else are you doing? And that's where the AI also assists. You know, so to generate somebody another, I don't know, $1,500 to $3,000 a week just from the AI on top of what they do, that's the difference in getting.
So correct me if I'm wrong. You're the 1% of the 1%.
We'll take it. We'll take it, baby, my man.
I don't think that's a true statement, right? Okay.
It's an absolute truth.
I love that.
All right. Speaking of which, have you guys met any billionaires? Who's the most successful people that you've ever met? And like, what do they do? Are they in sales?
My person is in sales. You know, my mentor is in sales.
Same.
You know,
Yeah. Also, I have a buddy who's a pilot
businessman.
for private jets, and so he just flies billionaires around all the time, charters them out, and they're mostly all in sales. Yeah.
David, I want to know more about you. The series, all the series that you're involved in. Tell me about them.
it's my guy.
You know, at the end of the day, I think an excellent salesperson will always be able to master their craft in anything they do. So being able to understand every faucet and every aspect about what they do is super important, right? So what did I do? I wanted to know every single thing about my industry.
Yeah, turn your mic, man. No, like to you this way. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
2 inches.
So I wanted to know every single aspect about my industry, so that way I could dominate in my industry, right? So when I go and I sit in front of a client and, you know, I'm an average Joe to them. They're buying me, but there are several other financial professionals out there. I'm a small fish in a
What
big
makes
pond.
you different? What makes you different than
What
everybody
makes me
else?
different is that I know what I'm talking about. When I go in there, I'm the doctor. I'm diagnosing the problem. I'm able to analyze that problem. I'm able to give a proper solution, and I'm able to understand exactly what they need. And a great salesperson will always understand what the person needs rather than just try to shove products and services down their throat.
And also, no one should know your industry better than you.
Absolutely.
That's something I live like. No one will know more than I know in my industry. In a
Okay, wait,
second.
hold on. Wait. We said two different things. You said something totally different than he did. It was a good point. Hold that thought for a second. I'm gonna ask you to repeat it. You just said something else though. I identify what they need. Right? Can you elaborate on that, please?
So, I mean, the need is super important because, like, for example, in our industry, chargebacks are you know, a crazy thing, right?
yeah.
So, like, if I get a chargeback in our industry, that means that money comes out of my pocket, right? So I've got to be able to pay that back. So how do I prevent chargebacks in my industry? How do I make sure that I'm servicing the client, I'm providing the right product and service? And that's by asking the right questions, being able to actually get in depth to understand.
Do you have a list you go down, or
No, that's just because I have care and compassion for the actual client.
Like you talking the way you do, I feel like that's literally when you sell them, they're buying because they're comfortable. They know the product. It's not some fugazi anything. Like they know what's happening and they're comfortable. And you reevaluate that throughout the call, and on the close, they understand that it's a benefit. They're not going to charge back if they know what's going on and they trust you. They actually will feel bad. It's like, I don't want to mess up what David's doing. Like, he was a good guy. And that's how a lot of sales are. Sometimes people just buy because they like you. They're like, you know what? I don't really know if I need this, but I trust you enough to do it.
And being able to walk them down the right path is the proper
hold their hand.
form. Exactly. Because, most people understand deeply psychologically what they need, but sometimes they're so focused on all the other things in their mind where they don't see that. So you have to be able to walk them down the right path to be able to help them find that
Oh,
need
look,
themselves.
that's what I like to do that too. I don't like taking no for an answer. If they say something, I ask the same question. If they say something that like that, they ask a question to try to throw me off guard, I ask my same fucking question.
But you probably know just from talking to you right now, no doesn't mean no. No just means they're not sold yet. So what's the no? The no might mean they don't understand. Maybe it's affordability.
Sometimes the no is they fucking don't know, and then you have to be so nice to them. You got to be like, oh, I'm sorry, man, whatever, you know? But if no just means like, no, motherfucker, I ain't giving you what you want to know, because usually you got to go through a gatekeeper too. You're not actually selling the sale on the first.
I love that you say that. My mentor, the one quote that always stuck with my head is he said, 99% of people are dumb. The 1%, we're not selling to them. You have to really be able to connect with your customer, because if you can't articulate yourself in a way they understand it, you're not doing your job right. Because a lot of things you can say, you're smart. I mean, everyone's here smart. But if you
I'm not. I probably have like an 80 IQ, 80
No
probably,
way.
room temperature
No way,
for sure.
way. No way.
Yeah, definitely.
You wouldn't be here if you had an 80 IQ. But you have to be able to know your customer base, know how to relate to them, and explain it in a way that they can comprehend. You say a lot of fancy words and stuff, but if they're not listening, it doesn't matter.
I agree with that part. That's something I deal with every day, explaining legal issues to just average people.
Simplifying
Yeah,
all of it, yeah.
exactly.
Yep. And even sometimes with that, you know, we can be nice with them and all of that, find the gatekeeper, but sometimes being respectfully direct with people is actually the way to
Okay,
go.
that's what I was trying to say. Is like when I don't take no for an answer, you can't be like "fuck you." You got to be like,
Respectfully aggressive.
Yeah.
I
How
have
do you-
that
okay,
written
can you
down.
guys elaborate?
Respectfully aggressive.
Can you elaborate on that,
So
please?
three niche questions that these are the three questions that if you can ask these, you're going to guaranteed get the answer from them. Sir, I completely understand. Ma'am, I completely understand. Do you understand the product? Are you comfortable with the price?
Mm-hmm.
Do you trust
Or
doing
maybe-
business with me? So if you're telling somebody, do you trust doing business with me? And you're that direct, all guards are off. So
Okay,
if you get three of those, you got an answer.
What if I'm calling a gatekeeper, right? I'm gonna say, do you trust? She's gonna fuck no, I don't trust you. But if
I love that.
But if I tell her this, ma'am, do you understand what I'm even trying to say?
So that's why I think you go down that list like that, because it's like, do you understand it? Great. So it makes sense. Do you trust me? No. I thank you so much for
Found the problem.
communicating
There you
that
go.
with me. Let's make that not be the issue.
So what
'cause
if
that's
they
really-
tell you no, I don't trust you?
I love that.
How do you like come out of that?
I love it. So in sales, you always agree. So I would be like, I love that you don't trust me, because honestly, I wouldn't trust me either. You just met me. You're not supposed to trust me over one phone call. That's not what this is. So I'm here to give you the information. I'm here to provide you with something that's going to benefit you. So I love that. Thank you so much. You know what? Honestly, I think we're going to get along great because you're honest. I'm honest. Good people do business with good people. So let's break that down a little bit more. What don't you trust about me? Oh, it's kind of weird about this and that. Okay, and then you just break it down. You just follow. There's sales. You do things. You agree. You isolate. You overcome the objection, and you ask for the money. It's
Look,
very,
you just said something I think we'll get along great, right? I just want to just take that and burn it into my brain. And you said something earlier that really burned into my brain earlier too, and I want to elaborate on that. And maybe you guys can bring up more examples like these sound bites. You were like, that's not how my dad raised me. He'd beat my ass if I... Can you say that again? Just that line? Because that shit made
you
me
were saying
think...
that earlier. Like if you tried to I think screw someone over, you're like, my dad would never let me do that.
Yeah,
type of thing.
if it was a business, integrity. If this was a business where I have to continue to find warm clients, family and friends, my dad would put me in a headlock. Especially
You get-
Okay,
you
my
get
dad,
weeded out
my
real
dad
quick,
would
too.
put me in a headlock. You know that makes you just trust somebody when you say that?
absolutely.
I hear that and I trust you now.
Because how
What
many
the
people how
fuck,
many
bro?
people in 2024 have integrity, especially where we live? Integrity is very important. Respect, integrity, loyalty.
Agreed.
You find those three things in people. That's why our circles are small. I know you guys have small, sir. I know you do too. So I know you guys have the same core values, or I wouldn't be here talking
Agreed.
to anybody.
Okay, but you were going off on a point right there. You were like, to understand what the product is, but then do you trust me? And then he had a really long stint on the trust part, right? Like, oh, I like that you don't trust me. I wouldn't either.
You're
if
not
I,
supposed to.
You're not, yeah.
That's not what this
So
is.
the whole thing is trust is a big factor, right, you guys?
Agreed.
So can we kind of touch on that more?
Absolutely. So I mean, for me personally, I don't do business with anybody I don't trust. I don't even hang out with people I don't trust. So a lot of our customers and customers in general, if they're buying things from you, they don't even realize the subconscious level of why they don't trust you. So a lot of times it's maybe they don't understand. And that's why their first question is, do you actually understand what this is? Do you understand the benefits? And if you do, great. So let's go down to the next objection. Okay, maybe you don't trust me. Why don't you trust me?
Let me say a soundbite you just said. Do you understand the benefits of this call here?
Yeah. I mean, like, do you understand why you're even calling in? Because another great quote I like to live by too is like, these people that are calling in, I don't know how you guys do marketing, but if you're calling in, they took the time to think about it. You already made your decision by calling in. So let's actually like vamp that up and let's like build off of that because you already know why you're calling. Now, do you feel comfortable with who you're talking to? That's why a lot of time in my industry, it's so funny. Like they'll call in and maybe they don't like the person and they'll call back in and then someone else will sell them because they trust that person. And they're just checking off all the boxes that subconsciously.
Okay, but you also have to talk about the not them calling in.
Okay.
You calling out.
So I personally, our company doesn't do any cold
Okay,
calls.
so you tell me about
Yeah.
the trust thing more.
Sure, we don't have cold calls. They're leads, but even though a lead, just because you have a lead, it doesn't mean it's going to be a sale. A lead is supposed to lead you to the client so you can effectively communicate, raise
like
the
that.
value,
I like that.
and the communication level to where they're like, you know what, this does make sense. So, for instance, you know, a call would be, I don't fully sell anymore. Obviously, I'm on the enterprise and the back level scaling it. But for instance, let's say he was to make a call. The call would be, Hey, Bobby, this is Rob. I was getting back to you with the request that you sent not too long ago regarding the state-regulated life insurance. I see a birthday 10/10/1962. Is that correct? Yeah, that's correct. But you know what? I'm not too interested at the moment, sir. I completely understand. That's the reasoning for my call. Were you not interested because it was too expensive or you've been getting a lot of calls? It was too expensive. The last person said $300 a month. So I completely understand. Allow me 3 to 4 minutes. I'm going to give you some information. Do what you want with it. Is that fair?
I love
Yeah.
that.
Okay,
how you
that's
gotta
fair.
do it.
Great. When you did request coverage, was this to add or start coverage? No matter what they choose, I'm in. Right. So the first thing, I'm opening the conversation with some personal information, which is their birthday. That earns me the right to keep them on the phone for another 20 seconds.
You build trust.
Those 20 seconds allow me to build trust and value to where I can continue.
Well, you're also asking yes questions.
Absolutely.
They can't
That's
say
all.
no. That's your birthday, right?
Yep, that's
I already
my
know
birthday.
that's your birthday.
Now they don't at the time they're not interested for now. I agree. I completely understand. I put
Wait,
a
but
little
you-
band-aid over it and
Yeah.
move forward.
But okay, you just like talked about, hey, let me close this right now, right? So what if they say no? What's your next objection to just like keep pushing and don't take no for an answer?
We just wouldn't stop until I know.
Oh, maybe you hang up and call them back at another time.
Absolutely. If you look at, you can Google anywhere, the average follow-up to close any type of client. Obviously, we can close right away, but anywhere from 6 to 12 times. You know, that's across the board. So you're going to have to continuously follow up, and that is a huge, huge thing. 95% of sales professionals will not reach the heights they need to reach because they're just not going to do all that extra effort.
But then how do you differentiate the tire kicker and then like how much follow up is even like?
So that's another great question. So what I like to do with those type of things, like if we do a lot of remailing, like people are calling in, I tell them, I seen that we've talked to you a few times. You know what's going on, but you haven't moved forward with this. Why haven't you done that? And they're like, they get kind of nervous. They're like, what? Oh man, he really knows. Like the more upfront you are with people, I think that actually helps you.
I gotta say this. Okay, sometimes people don't know what the fuck is good for them, right? Like if it's a dude in retirement and he's gonna lose his business anyways, if he sells it now, it'd be better off for him, right? To save him. Like you have to push that motherfucker through that shit, you know, to the finish line. He
So
doesn't
that's how
even
you
know
sell-
what's good for him.
you sell
And
with
you probably
empathy.
have some.
Yeah.
Well, here's the key part on that. Remember, you said that people don't know what they want always, right? But here's the cool part about it.
Yeah, the mic.
Is that
You're good. You're good. Keep
all
going.
right. At the end of the day, people are products of their environment, right? So just because somebody had filled out that request and they're not like actually interested in it at that time, life always throws people curveballs, right? Life always, and especially in our business, life comes back to kind of smack them in the face to bring them back to reality.
So are you using the scare tactic? Because I
No.
love that shit, bro.
No. Here's
Then
the
what?
idea of it, is that it comes back to the need in their mind. It reshifts
Okay.
the focus back to that.
You're getting back to what they need, but they don't know they fucking need it yet.
But reality
They know they need it.
speaks to them
Yeah.
in that need.
But
That's why the
you are
follow-up
reality.
super
Is your
important.
name reality, sir?
No, but
my middle
here's
name,
but here's the cool part is if you follow up with somebody enough times,
Yeah.
you're gonna get them at that right period of time, especially in our business.
Real quick, random question. Just kind of, do you guys have like a celebratory thing you do when you close a sale? Like I do something like every time I like 5 sales a day. I get them. I like take a break. Do you guys have like a bell?
Absolutely.
that's
So
a
we
good-
got
that's a good
what is it called?
Yeah,
A
same.
dong? Is it called a dong? So
You
we
hit
got
the
we got
deal
a
and you
big
hit the-
dong.
yeah.
Anytime somebody, anybody, what we say protects a family. That's
I
the
love
beauty
that.
about our industry too. There's no negative to
Wait,
it.
wait, let's elaborate on that. So, what do you do again? You throw a huge party and
No,
like, what
no.
if I
a
get
certain amount
sale?
of deals you
No, I always
congratulate
just take a
yourself.
break. I close the sale. I'm like, yes, fuck yeah. I say, thank you, God.
First you hit the dong and then you set the party up,
Maybe
right?
maybe have a joy.
Well, thank you, God, first. Then we hit the dongs.
Oh, I know.
So Josh,
right?
correct me if
I'll
I'm
drop
wrong.
first.
Every day you come in and do what you do you write down how many deals you want to get? And then
Yeah.
once you cross that off,
yeah.
then you do that.
Yeah, for sure. So I have a goal of how many I have to close because I have to fulfill the contracts I have with people.
So you manifest that.
And then I have
get
literally
work
if I
towards it.
don't fucking put
Oh,
in the
you don't
hours,
really wanna get
then
into
I don't get the
manifesting.
Let's
sales.
get into it, baby. No, I love that. Yeah, you have to do that.
You have a quota.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So
know
you
what?
guys do you guys think quotas like what how do you hold your like thoughts elaborate quotas?
I mean, for my company, the way I run it is you always have a sales quota and you always have, you have to have a certain amount of closing percentage. So that means calls to deal ratio. So I put them to a very high standard, but they always succeeded. Like maybe I'll have one or two people under.
You will only meet your highest expectation.
You have to
You
be
will
held to
only
something.
meet what you aim at. You will never hit higher than what you aim at. You may hit a little bit lower or on target, but you'll never hit way out of the park because you didn't aim that high.
You have to hold people accountable. So a lot of things, I think a lot of problems with people that don't succeed is nobody holds them accountable ever.
Okay, let's talk about accountability since we keep jumping topics.
good
That's
point.
more of a management thing, right? So now you're a manager, accountability. Now there's different strategies of accountability, but I think like there's two main ones is micromanager, offhand.
Personally, for me, the reason why I think I'm such a good manager is because I don't micromanage. I give the people the tools to do the right thing, and they value my opinion, and they don't want to let me down so much that they always rise to the expectation. If you're going to be that type of person, it's hard to really be successful if someone's always micromanaging you. You have to be okay with people making mistakes and then correct them.
Well, the micromanagers will never make it to the highest levels. You have to be, hands off and away from the daily.
To kind of answer your question, I try to do everything that all my managers that I've always hated did. So I want to be different than that because I don't want that type of manager.
Takes
Well,
a
you
lot of
must have
trust,
hated
though.
all your managers, bro.
I mean, but a lot of people aren't even thinking like how we're thinking. So it's not that I hated them. I just was like, why are you doing? It could be so much more efficient.
Why are you such a pussy?
You're
I just
right.
want to
It's
tell
like,
my
come
boss
on,
that so
man.
many times, huh?
And to play devil's advocate on that, some majority of people do not want to be micromanaged. That's the reality of the situation. But you can some people will ask you. He asked me to micromanage him when he moved
That's not
firms.
micromanaging.
That's
That's
smart.
coaching and mentorship.
It's also micromanaging because of the niche that he's in, right? So it was micromanaging. You know what? You're right. A better word would be just consistent accountability and on that ass.
But he's
I
but,
still-
but he's
I
but he's
still-
asking you though.
But he's
I still
asking
think
You're
that's
not on
that's
top of him.
Yeah,
and
I still
being
think that's
aggressive.
mentorship.
Correct.
I love
Correct.
that. I mean, I do the same thing. Hey, what could I do better? What did I do wrong here that I could have been here? And if you can't ask that self and be good with self-criticism,
Yeah, you rot.
I mean,
You
you're
have
not
to be
going to move
coachable.
up.
You
But
have to be
you're not
coachable.
going to ask every person that you meet at work those questions. You
Well, you
have
find your mentors.
You find the one person that you know that you can extract the most knowledge from, and then you
And
ride
they
it
know
with
what
them
they're
as long
talking
as it
about.
takes.
They know what
Yeah,
they're talking
another
about.
question for this guy.
Yeah.
You're in a very different space than some
Right,
of us.
100%.
Who do you look up to as like a mentor? Because I mean, you said top 40 under 40 for
Yeah.
criminal defense.
Yeah.
Like, who's your superhero?
Yeah, that's a good question.
So, yeah, just bouncing out. There's a lot of things talking about, a lot of good information. But
A follow-up question to
Yeah.
that: who are the top guys in that industry that you're in?
Top guys?
So, like, answer his first,
Yeah.
but then follow up to that.
as far as mentors go, when I was a DA, so I used to be a prosecutor. So prosecuted, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of crimes. Being a prosecutor, I think my mentors were the seasoned DAs, the ones who were doing murder cases, the ones who were prosecuting, child molestation, all these heavy hitter life cases. Those people who can run a courtroom, who can know the law, if they need to argue with the judge to make sure that the law is actually upheld. Those, I'd say, are the mentors as far as that experience goes, and seeing a trial attorney, not just an attorney.
Integrity, right?
Yeah, exactly, 100%. Yeah. So when you're an attorney, especially when I was a DA, you have all the evidence, right? And it's your legal obligation to turn that over. So you want to do the right thing all the time, 100%, every single time, even when nobody's looking. But a mentor is someone who has that integrity, who is able to do what they need to do, and that's someone I look up
But
to.
for you,
Yeah.
is it a small world? Like
Very small world.
Everybody knows.
It's
each
always
other?
a small world at the top.
Yeah, dude, it's a very small
Only
world.
at the top.
I see people that I went to school with, people that I went against when I was a DA on the other side now that I'm on criminal defense. So, you know, the judges, you know, the prosecutors, it's a very small world. But in my world that I live in, it's all about your reputation. Your reputation is everything. If you're someone who's dishonest or may have done something shady, then it's done. But you all have to do the right thing every single time. And like
So
sales,
what lengths would you go to
point.
protect your reputation? Would you murk someone? I'm just kidding.
Would you file a
consider it.
defamation case if you have some beef?
No, I think it's all about, you know, your integrity. If I have nothing to hide, then I'm not worried about it.
I just watched Alexander Hamilton, the founder of the United States, pretty much, right? And reputation in their time,
Yeah.
300 years ago, was way more
You'll
everything.
get
So they
shot
had
if you
they
don't have
had
a good
duels.
reputation. There you go. Yeah. See,
They
right.
went they went to that length to say
Defend
I
your
will
honor.
defend my honor.
Yeah. But I want to bounce off before we move on to like a next thing is about that trust, right? So again, it's all sales that I do too, but it's a different type of sale. I'm in the long-term relationship. I'm not just selling a good and then moving on. I'm going to deal with someone for potentially a year or even over that. So you want to make sure that trust is there. What we were talking about earlier.
And I like your sale too, because it's
Yeah.
like, I mean, to really get to the nitty and gritty, like people's lives depend on if
Right.
you can represent them. Because at the end of the day, they're not representing themselves. So can you learn about them? Do you get a good feel of their character?
100%.
And then can you express that to 12 people?
Yeah, exactly. And it's not about the money for us. It's about that relationship. Will you trust me to essentially navigate you through these legal battles that when your life is in jeopardy? You know what I mean? Like, are they're looking at years in prison. So do they trust you with your experience to like guide them in the right direction? So it takes a lot of like trust and stuff like that. But yeah, you definitely want to understand your client and relate with them. And if that relationship's not there, then it's not going to succeed.
I got a question for that.
Yeah.
How do you differentiate on your day to day? How do you differentiate the emotional stance that you feel and the empathy towards a client in comparison to the actual logic and data?
So you have
Right,
to.
because that's probably a huge thing, and you have to be strong minded on
Yeah.
that. How are you going about that?
100%. So you have to separate that. You have to bifurcate it in the fact that I have empathy. I understand that, you know, you're looking at 27 years in prison or whatever, or life in prison, whatever the case may be, and you want to be a human with them. It's a human to human conversation you're having with them, and you want to relate, right? You don't want to just be like a robot. So you have that aspect as far as like a human relationship that you build. They trust you, you trust them. It's a good relationship. On the other hand, though, you want to just be essentially
Okay, wait,
Yeah.
stop. Relating, right? You probably couldn't give a fuck, most people around, right? Relating to their issues. But in that case, you have to be able to turn that human shit on and relate to whatever certain thing that needs to be related to the most. So relating, that's a whole skill right
But
there.
correct me if I'm wrong. You do care about your
100%.
So,
Yeah.
So yes.
I'm not saying he doesn't care.
Well, I'm saying there's
he's not like
people-
me where I don't care about nobody.
No, I'm not
just
even
kidding.
saying that. I'm just saying like, yes, that's a thing. But also the people that do really good in sales and life and move up, they actually do care about these
Or
people.
they can pretend like they care.
and absolutely you got to be
But
able
no, but what I'm saying is there's a time to be enthusiastic and a time not to be. There's a time to be not caring and a time to be
Let
caring.
me ask you this question.
It's-
Do you ever take a case that you don't believe in your client? Do you have to take that case, or do you always get to choose, I believe this guy, I'm going to fight for him?
So we have the discretion, and that's the cool thing about having our own business is you can pick and choose the cases you want. But you know, a public defender, they're given what they're given, and that's what it is. But as far as us goes, being like guilty or innocent is a legal standard. So in my mind, everyone is innocent until you're convicted of that crime. And so the great thing about our country we live in is you have that constitutional right to an attorney. So no matter
Thanks
that,
to Alexander Hamilton.
Let's go.
right, so
The
whatever
documentary.
whatever the case may be, I want to give everything I have to support that person and defend them. So if it's a case that I think we can help someone out, you know, no, most of the time it's get people in a bad situation, then we'll take it and we'll do what we can to protect those people. Yeah.
I love that.
So okay, the relating thing. Don't you guys think this for sales? That's a fucking cheat code to be able to turn your ability to relate, right? There's something that this person, most things they don't care about that seriously. This thing they do, and you can see that instantly because you've honed in that skill to be like, oh, time to turn on the light switch. All right, what do I got to do now to make sure
on
I
a lower level with what you were saying earlier, first impressions are so important. We have, I mean, I don't know how many calls you guys take or sales you do, but for me, like you're doing like 50 plus like new in first impressions every time. And you got to be 100% on every call. And it's hard to do that.
So this is the next question that we were talking about.
Okay.
What's the optimal call rate for you where you're not like
500 a day.
No.
So for my company, always less is more. So you want to be able to maximize.
man.
No. But I love that you said that. I love that you said that though.
Nah, bro, I don't agree.
No. I mean, all power to you. But the way we do our marketing and everything, you want to spend the least amount of money and maximize the deal. So you want, if let's say you get 100 calls, we want you to close 100 of those. Like you don't want to ever leave money on the table.
Well, I want to close them all too, though.
Yeah, but so less is always more. But also, more calls is always better too. But what if you got 500 calls
What are
and you
you
close
spending
5?
money on though? Ads?
So you would say 100
Or
Would you say
list?
like 100? I want to know like the actual number.
So I'll give you. Do you want like a daily call?
Yeah,
like
like
daily?
with your
So my top
Everybody
closers.
go around and ask this question to everyone.
Yeah. So my top closers, we have really good data for our company. So literally, a top closer will probably do like 25, 30 calls, and they'll be closing in like 20%.
Each call is what, like 15 minutes, 20 minutes?
Like 20 plus. I mean, sometimes you get the laydowns and absolutely take those. But I mean, every call is determined differently. So like what my job is, like if they can't close the deal, I'm on the call. So all my calls are like almost hour plus. So because that's the call that they couldn't get, and I'm going to grind it until I get it. But the average agent, the data is so good. It's like you're going to close it. Like, I mean, everybody closes high over 10%, which for a sales company is really good. You take, there's companies that do what we do, take 500 calls, they get 5 deals. Do you want to do that? No, absolutely not. I'd rather take like 10 calls and close 8 deals. That's the
Have a
ideal.
good quality lead come through.
Yeah, I mean, quality over quantity, always.
What about you in the insurance world?
The insurance world, it depends, you know what we're spending on. You can get inexpensive leads on people that inquired once upon a time. And we can get our guys to shuffle through that. We can get our call center to shuffle through that, the AI to shuffle through that. So those leads will automatically
Wait,
revive.
man, you keep hitting me with this fucking AI.
Yeah, I
shit,
know, I like
bro.
this.
What do you
That's the
mean?
hack. Everybody take notes, baby. If not, you're late.
I don't,
ChatGPT.
I don't believe you. I think you're full of shit. I don't think AI is there yet.
It's there.
So what
It's
is
there.
it? What does AI
It's
do?
there. So it's the software that we incorporate into our CRM. So let's say I got a list. We were touching up on the list.
Okay,
and that's an
I'm
exact thing.
totally all ears now.
That's
Yeah.
So we got a list from clients that whether they requested 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago. That's nothing for us. So I'll buy 10,000 of those. I'll spread them to my guys. I'll spread them to my agents. All they do is put it into a CSV file, kind of an Excel sheet, throw that bad boy into software, and the AI will continue to generate.
Hold on. Software. What do you mean the AI will generate?
We put into our CRM.
So why are they?
Hey,
So they're getting someone on the phone, and then now this person's interested. Now we're going to transfer to a real person.
Now
I love that.
So let's say he has a CRM. We put all the leads in there. The AI starts to nurture. Hey, you requested not too long ago. What's the problem? What's the deal? What's happening?
Yeah.
And then let's say they're like, you know what?
Wait,
This
I'm
was
so
the
confused.
conversation. He'll get on the phone. Oh shoot, the AI worked. Boom. Get on
Yeah,
the
we
phone
got
with them.
let's say there's
Oh,
5
the AI
questions. They get through the
calls.
5 questions, and now they get to talk to a real person.
Yes.
You earn that.
So
I like that.
we
Wait,
revived.
Wait.
the lead.
Wait. Please help me understand this. So the AI actually makes the call, and then once a live person talks, then you
It
just
doesn't
talk.
make the call. This is all text message.
It weeds them out
Oh,
over
okay.
It's a
text.
drip system.
It's a drip system.
Ooh.
A day, 3 days, 5th days, 10th day, 13th day. And then we get that, or you can buy it
I
expensively.
like AI now.
So
I like
I have this service as well, and the company's coming out with like the talk version, and I'm really curious.
What's it
'cause,
called, bro?
I don't want to like tell people.
TBA,
tell me.
TBA,
You're gonna tell me though, right?
I'll tell you after. Yeah.
Okay.
But like, do you think? I think it's there.
Was
I
it
think-
working? That's a good.
Yeah.
That's a better question.
Well, I mean, it's like prototype right now. So next week they're gonna like launch it on the.
Okay.
Are you guys talking about the same software?
Maybe same umbrella. Yeah.
I mean, once you do it once, you can kind of replicate it with AI, which is nice. It's
So
not
the,
like a
the
niche
talking
for it.
feature is obviously going to be a massive thing as well.
Okay, back
That's
to the
what I
question
thought.
though.
That's what I thought you guys were talking about because I've been hearing shit about that, and I've been like, all right, where do I find this?
What's
shit?
your optimal rate? What do you tell people? Like minimum, you have to make these calls, or like
Okay, so the minimum is we need people to do 300 calls a day.
Hell yeah, fuck
Damn.
yeah.
300
That's
calls a
like
lot.
that's like 9 hours.
So what's the? Do you guys care about closing percentage?
So 100%.
Okay.
100%. So to touch upon that, the
but
300 calls.
also, yeah, that's filtering. That's not like in depth, like closing, like
no,
you're
that's
doing.
we got an automatic dial system. So you click one button, it just dials the leads
So,
for you. My
yeah, I
guys
think
can
we
do
have
that in
a
5
little-
hours.
No,
Yeah,
but
different data.
still, when you say 25, if I'm talking to 25 owners and I'm spending like at least a good amount of time with each, I agree with that. I'd rather be on that. But he's talking about filtering through to get good data to talk to,
and that's
right?
great to have that. Honestly, like before, what I was doing before I ran this company, I was doing auto warranties, and it's more geared towards that. So it's more calls that the data is cheap, but you get someone on the phone and you'll close it for how much money the company's spending. It's allocating to produce a revenue. But also as like a closer, I ain't trying to take 300 calls or 500. Like I'd rather take, 20 or 30 and close like 20 of them. Or
Correct. And
15.
that's where you're at.
But you're talking about cold calling.
They're not cold. Everybody's inquired
But you're
right
talking
away
about
or
outbound
once upon a
calls.
time.
But it works
both.
too.
And he's talking
It works
about
too,
inbound
though.
calls.
Yeah,
So
so
we're
I don't
talking about
do-
two
yeah.
different things. We can't
Yeah.
compare these. These are not apples and apples.
But
I can
that's
relate
good though,
to the inbound
too.
calls for sure.
Yeah, I like that though, because like realistically, you get more calls, you will get more deals.
100%.
But I mean, is it better?
The phone
I
is
just
the
want
gateway.
to. I have to say this. Okay, in order to get the type of calls that you want, right? You have to sometimes, if you're starting from scratch, not if you're a company that, right?
And my
you
company's
have to.
pretty established, so
Yeah,
it's like,
so I have to personally go through, filter
shout
out
out
the
to
good
Zach.
ones, to get
Yeah.
to the owners, obviously.
yes. So they've been doing it for a long time, so they've already worked out all the kinks. Like that's why we do so good, is because we're not trying to take all those calls.
So how many salespeople do you have?
30 right now, almost 30. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, the more the merrier. That's how you scale. So
Absolutely.
with the inbound call system, we got an inbound
But-
call
but
system,
c-
But it's almost a no-brainer to also have an accountable sales force that is going to do outside calls. So when I was looking at my balance sheet and I seen, okay, this was the revenue, this is what we net. I'm like, okay, how can I add, let's say, another $250,000 a month in premium here? Okay, if I hire another 35 people, local, nationwide, which is nationwide now, if they're averaging this much a deal, I can add that to the bottom line. So why not tell my assistant, my admin, to throw some ads out, hire these people up, and boom, they double
I
down.
agree.
triple
Can you
down.
sell me some whole insurance right now? Because I hear all this stuff all the time about like
I really
whole
want to know.
life,
I want to know
or,
about
like-
life insurance.
I got you.
I was never been more interested in something personally from out of my field, and I think I keep seeing it everywhere. All my friends are like, "You got to do this. Got to do this." Like,
Okay, but before he goes into his whole
I
pitch
got
and
you on a
everything,
nice one.
like,
Yeah,
this is why
I wanna
he rolls
hear it.
around with me. This is
I
why
love
he
that.
rolls around with me.
okay, like if you were to make this a quick meeting, right? So we can get to the other topics because there's a lot of sales topics. Go ahead, sell us and the whole audience, right? If they need life insurance, who to get in touch with?
At Rob Kakish.
and also, what are the benefits for getting it?
Well, I mean,
David Roman.
let's put in two different sides, right? Because there's two different types of life.
If you want
insurance.
this audio to be good for your clips later on, your
Hey, I might be getting life insurance, so
There you
I'm
go.
very interested. Sell me.
So there's two different types of life insurance, right? There's your term life insurance, which is just plain Jane, right? And then there's your permanent. Now, most people associate life insurance with death, but the products and services that we use actually provide life to life insurance. And what I mean by that is they offer cash value to the policies.
So elaborate on that. So I've heard. I mean, I don't know anything about life insurance, but the way it's portrayed is like you get this policy, you pay into it, but also whatever you put into the policy, you can actually take that out, but it doesn't affect the overall value
Sell
of it.
that on.
well, if you want to know, if you want to know,
please, yeah.
let him talk. Let him finish.
So here's the cool part, right? So a number of our products and services offer a retirement aspect to life insurance. Now, the great part is they're registered under the IRS, under IRS code 7702, which
Hey
makes
man,
it
we don't
a
got time
tax-free
for
product.
codes. You got like 60 seconds on the clock.
Here's the cool part. So our tax-free products allow your premiums, every single time you pay your premiums, they go either on top of the death benefit or into the death benefit. What I mean by that is they accumulate cash. They mirror the market, which means that the market will go up and down, but your money won't go up and down. It'll grow to a certain participation rate, whatever you allocate that with. We can put it in several different indexes that allow your money to grow to a certain cap rate.
Can you simplify that a little bit more?
The simplified version is how do I maximize my money at a tax-free rate of return, and how can I utilize that money while I'm still alive? Now, our products and services allow us to do that. They also have what's called living benefits, which means that if I get cancer, heart attack, stroke while I'm still alive, that policy will pay out up to 90% of the death benefit, not the cash value.
How long do I have to buy this before I can actually like extract?
5 years.
5 years. So that means you have a 5-year surrender period.
So me right now, I'm allocating about $1,000 a month to my policy, on top of just everything else that we're working on. In 10 years, I'm going to have over $1 million plus tax-free waiting for me. So the S&P 500 has given us in the last 75 years 10.4% return. Okay, so that is what you're going to be getting on this index universal life policy in comparison to a 401k where you can lose all your money. So there is no risk of loss.
So
There's
if I
no
wanted to
downside
do
risk.
a life insurance policy and I do $1,000 a month, that's what it
You'll
can,
be a millionaire in like 10 years.
How long? 10 years?
5, I think.
If
you said, right?
if structured
We're going to
properly.
structure. You got to be careful who you structure it with.
Okay.
And
so I'm
here's-
coming to you if I
wait,
need
We're
it.
not commission based,
Wait,
baby. We're all
here's-
about relationships.
But here's the cool part, though, guys.
Wait,
My
wait,
salary.
wait. So you said you could have a cash
Value.
value. Okay, got you. Go ahead.
So here's the cool part, guys. Structure is everything. Now, our industry gets a bad rap most of the time because agents will take commission over actual structural process. Here's where the integrity comes in to play. Now, my clients love me, and my clients refer a lot of people back to me because they understand that integrity is first and foremost, right? I take less commission because I maximize their cash value, right? And so they love me at the end of the day because I put them first. The other side of this, guys, is in this day and age, you have people that are suffering from lack of retirement, right? A 401k, for example, offers a contribution limit, like your traditional IRAs, Roth IRAs, offer contribution limits that are set by the government. I can structure it to where there's no contribution limit.
You have to wait till you're 65, right?
Exactly. So here's the cool part. Well, what if I want to withdraw my money out, 5 years before? Wouldn't I rather just invest in a Roth IRA or an IRA? Well, let me ask. You're 45 years old right now. If you invested in a Roth IRA or IRA, you'd be getting penalized and taxed, and you would have downside risk. Also, $1 today is not the same as $1 tomorrow.
Inflation.
Right? Inflation is deteriorating that value every single day. So there are many different pointed questions where I walk them down that path.
do you sit
so I
at the
help them
kitchen
understand
table?
that.
Do you do Zoom calls? Like, how do you have these one-on-ones?
Everything. I try.
Commonality
I
is
fly them out
huge.
sometimes.
You fly out sometimes?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
When you
impressive.
have somebody who wants to drop $1 million, $2 million, $500,000.
Hop on this flight.
We're
I just
hopping on
did
the
it in Las Vegas.
Oh, there you go.
I just did it in Las Vegas. Yeah.
It's not a bad.
So
place
the
to go.
kitchen table is the generally, right? That's the place.
It's overall, it's a virtual. A lot of it, I'd say. Yeah,
Oh,
honestly,
because of
with you,
Corona
it's about
or-
50-50.
so wait, because of Corona, or is like
No, just
well,
because
like
we've scaled nationwide. In the beginning, it was like that. You are correct. In the beginning, it was.
But
like
it
that.
was like a blessing, right? Because now you guys could do bigger things.
Yeah,
Nobody
100%.
realized you don't always have to.
You also have
100%.
Zoom, and to be honest with you, I love actually sitting down with somebody, whether it's on Zoom or in person, because they have something tangible. They're not going to charge that back because they have something tangible in their hands where they know that they're not being set up for failure.
It's hard to say no to
Okay.
someone in person.
It's a
too.
wrap.
They feel bad.
Exactly. Exactly,
You come
100%.
and hang out with you guys, and you try to sell me something. I might just buy it because I was like, I don't want to be mean to these guys. Whatever. I'll pay.
Well, you know that we're putting you first at the end of the day.
They
And
can
that's
feel
what
it.
most clients understand.
So I like in-person sales. I
Absolutely.
think that's. Yeah, I wish I did
in-person
that
is a
too.
wrap.
yeah.
Okay, but this is an interesting topic because you just said you could scale like crazy, right? What I like in person, I want to see your face, right? Which is true if you're trying to close something big, right? I would rather fucking not take the chance and Zoom it when I know I could be in person and close your ass, right?
Yeah.
But then like the scale, so there's like this, right?
Happy medium, I get. Well, I guess
Yeah,
you can-
100%. There is a happy medium, and the reality is, if you want to scale to that point, what I had to do, obviously, is I just had to recreate systems. Our systems of operations. I had to revamp the entire company in order for us to scale to that point. We got offices around the nation. We can't do face to face all the time, so we just had to recreate all systems.
Or maybe
of
like a
operations.
first call, we'll do a Zoom just so I could fill you out and you're not fucking.
well, I guess
But then
Whatever.
when
Pick your
that
battles,
happens, you're
too.
gonna have somebody else who's gonna come and possibly take the client. While it's hot, you gotta attack.
But those big
Rob,
leads, you're
what-
like, let me go out and
and that's when I send them out.
What
David.
what do you do in terms of your training schedule on a weekly basis? How many trainings do you have?
We do so I obviously I train my managers, my guys, him, and then obviously they train the rest of the company. So what it is training is massive, right? And that's what keeps culture in a company, familiarity and
Retainer.
and
Integrity.
retainment and honestly understanding what to
But
do.
these
So
trainings are
every
all
day-
Zoom, right?
They are
So
all
they're
Zoom.
not that time consuming. You could just
An
do
hour.
a training often
Yep.
and then.
That's even better. We could do it every day.
Every day, and we
I do
pretty much
training
do
calls
it
every day
Every
with
day, we
them.
have live dials as well. We got a Zoom of over 100 agents just going at it every time somebody unmutes and they're closing. So
I think
they're
that's the
hearing-
best. Like that's maximizing. What
that's
you do.
Wait. You ring the dong when someone hits that shit on Zoom?
Absolutely. Depending on how I'm feeling, you might get a Zell that day too.
Hey,
Oh,
Dong and
I
Zell.
like the whole cash incentive.
Oh, it's always.
You have to reward
It's always.
them.
So if you
Yeah.
go in our office, we have a big thing. It's just 20, 50,
What was the most you
$100
ever?
bills.
What was the most you ever zelled somebody? What about in office?
5 Gs.
Oh shit!
5
What was
Gs.
the most in office you ever gave somebody?
5 G's. Him.
Oh shit! Fuck, bro.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
must have been a good feeling.
It was a great feeling.
I mean, $5,000 is a $5,000. Fucking who cares? But if it's cash in your hand, it's like, whoa,
On
it's right
top of
there.
on
sitting
top of
behind
whatever
you.
you
Yeah,
made, which I'm sure was amazing.
Absolutely.
Just like it's a different
But
feeling.
companies don't do that, so I like to
No,
hear that because
no,
my company does that. When people come in, they're like, "Wait, I can. What? How much can I make if I get like 30 deals and close at what percentage? You're gonna give me $5,000. You're gonna give me like $8,000. Like that. People don't do
nuts.
that. But God, like, does it help? Absolutely. I'd be motivated more. I'm
Okay,
staying
tell us about. Does it help?
It absolutely helps, but not always. Believe it or not, money is not a motivator for everybody.
Ooh, tell us more.
And money is not a motivator for everybody. A lot of people, you know, especially that we're taking in, a lot of people are going through their day-to-day shit. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are going through their day-to-day shit.
What does that mean?
So even though money obviously is an incentive, at the same time, a lot of people want a brotherhood. A lot of people want a family.
wanna belong to
people want to
something.
belong to something.
So
they want to
culture.
be part of culture. There you go. Part of culture. So that's another thing as well. You know, so
So talk about building culture. What is that? Elaborate on
building culture that's a thing over time, and you every time, you know, in business, but in this case we're going to talk about culture in business. You have to reassess every quarter, every 90 days. You have to reassess on how you got to create that culture.
that. Is culture more just in one word, training?
No.
No. Culture is, you can, if you niche it down to an individual, it's lifestyle, right? How is the culture there? You know, is everybody on needles?
Do they
right?
feel comfortable?
Do they feel
coming to work?
comfortable?
Do
Is
they
it
like
like
coming
They
to
should
work?
be on needles. They
They-
should be making hand over fist money, but on needles and loving that shit. Like the fucking Wolf of Wall Street.
You know what the beauty about
But they
that is,
love
and
that,
that's a
though.
good point, is
They love them.
people who need to be on needles and eggshells, they're automatically like that because they're self-driven. So they're going to do that with or without you.
They're going to hold
Find more of
themselves
those
to a higher
guys.
standard.
Correct.
But that's probably why you're where you're at, and you're where you're at, and you're where you're at, and you're where you're at, because you hold yourself to a higher standard that no one even said. They're like, why are you so hard on yourself?
what it
Because I got
was.
to be like
Yeah.
this. I have to do this, and I think that's what makes someone successful.
You have to be.
and that's back to what we said. You could give them the script. You can't teach people how to hold themselves accountable. They need to want to do that. They want to be better. You need to want to be better in your own way.
100%. And it's a lot of mental framework too. You know, before our coaching and script training, we get people into stepping into the new selves and really doing, you know, different mind stuff, you
love
know,
that.
because that's the whole thing. You got to indoctrinate yourself out of the matrix. How do you do that? You know, it's really a self-reflection, and accountability is the most beautiful trait.
Okay,
You know?
you motivators. What motivates you all?
Freedom and family and influence.
Absolutely.
So mine's a little different. Of course, the money's always good, but I was very happy making what I was making before, like $4,000 a month in Temecula. I was working
They
at the
say
wine
that
country.
there's like a 80,000 threshold of happiness ratio, right?
Like I don't think if I came into my career for just money, I don't think I would be where I'm at, and I don't think I would be as successful as I am, because I generally want to bring people in that were in the same situation as me, and that's why I hire a lot of my friends and people I went to high school with.
So you're helping.
So purpose. So that's what I was bringing back. Like, what's your purpose?
But purpose could mean a lot of things. But
So you got to figure out your purpose.
Okay, but
So
you mean what
agree with that.
motivates you is like helping people get out of their shitty situations.
Well, not only that, the best part about that is indirectly, I make more money if they do better. So it's like, I feel good. I know I'm helping people
So
that I care
what
about.
motivates you? Helping people or making the money?
I think knowing that like I have something that I should maximize and I can help other people come to where I can. Because I mean, I never thought I would make anything. I never thought it would be anything really.
So you're giving people hope, and that's what motivates you is to give others hope.
To believe in themselves, absolutely, yeah, huge, absolutely, yeah.
I kind of bounce off that. I'd say motivating is hope that they can, you know, get through this kind of difficult thing. And then the second thing would be just success, just winning. I just love to win.
Winning, okay,
Yeah.
that's another really good topic.
I want to add my.
Okay,
my
but I'm gonna
thing
hold
on
that thought. Okay, the winning thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have another company that makes me a lot of money. Gatsby doesn't make money. I want to be very clear of why I've been like grinding on Gatsby, because Gatsby to me is like the pursuit of excellence. Like for all of you guys,
Mamba mentality.
Mamba
Yeah,
mentality.
that's
It's
cool,
just I've been trying to just get the best people together and just try to all make money together. So like for me, that Rubik's cube of just trying to find all the G's and OC and actually making money and all the entrepreneurs, that's what motivates me. Like everything else, the money's not there, and I'm cool with it. That's the other business. So yeah, that's my.
I believe you on that 100%.
But how do you recognize a G from a not G?
Well, that's why. I mean, honestly, that's
We're all
why.
here. I feel like
You think
Real
we're all,
recognize real.
You think we're all G's, bro?
Absolutely.
In the grand scheme of things, you think we're all
Absolutely.
G's compared to Elon Musk and Bill Gates? We're all G's.
Levels, there's
everybody,
levels.
but everybody has a different definition of that.
Then we're not G's. G's means you're level 1, bro.
No, I mean,
Buddy, 300, 400K a year, you're in the 1%.
Yeah.
And if you're in the 1% of America, the best country in the world,
and wouldn't you want to be around people you like and you respect and
Absolutely.
you value? Like that's my
Okay,
G.
let me ask that question about culture now. Would you rather have a great culture and decent money, or insane money and not so much culture?
Well, let me say this. I mean, a great culture will breed excellence.
That's what I was going to
That
say.
ROI
It's going to
will
already happen.
Answer
It'll
my
happen.
question.
It's
bro.
indirectly, though.
Answer my
It's
question. Insane money or regular money, culture and not culture?
It's a conduit of what that action is.
You a
right?
politician? You're not going to answer me, bro?
no, but he's right.
But he is right.
I'm
No,
absolutely right.
but I asked the
Because-
question though.
because- look,
what
look,
would you
for-
rather have personally? You, sir, you, the one in the white
for
shirt.
example, this.
No, you're not gonna answer me.
when I walk into the office every single day, I love the people who I associate with because
So
we're
you
all
just
winning
answered me. It's
together.
the culture answer.
And you want
rather have
to
regular
work
life-
harder. You want to work
Absolutely.
harder because you don't want to let him
Absolutely.
down. You don't want to
Okay,
let
you
your
the same
100%.
question. Culture.
Okay, so for me personally, you said, right? You niched it down and said personally. Me personally, I would rather have way less culture in my life.
Yes, me too.
In my life, and make a shitload of money.
Toxic.
Just because
Toxic. Oh no.
and that's for me specifically, not
Okay,
the people
this
around.
is
And
the
that's
thing.
because I got to finish on
Go
this.
ahead,
That's
yes, please.
because I'd rather be less happy to make everybody else more fulfilled.
Mm.
I'm okay with taking that hit.
I always say that. though.
Oh,
good
there's a
with that.
saying. There's a saying. I'll eat last as long as I eat most.
I'm good with
And
that.
you can't help anybody unless you can help yourself.
So
I do.
I'm
agree
good with that part.
Yeah.
It's
I'm good with that
tough
part.
to
Okay,
run a fucking company.
Let's
dude,
ask the
so-
question.
Those are very loaded
Go ahead,
questions,
You. Would you rather have the culture? Because yours is kind of a tough one because the culture is the business, right?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I have to separate the two. The other business I have, I don't have too much expenses. I don't have too much salesman. It's just me making a fuck ton of money, and I love that. But on the Gatsby side, it's like
Can you talk about that?
no,
the
I
Gatsby
can't.
culture.
Oh, the Gatsby culture. Yeah. I can talk about
We talk about the money here.
Yeah.
No, like what is like what does it mean that when you're around these highly successful entrepreneurs and they have a big win and they say, "Hey, I just had a big win. I want to celebrate." And they're like, "Oh, I know the guy." Is that what the culture is?
So maybe start from when I kind of met you. I think that's a better start off point for you because like that wasn't really happening and you were getting it off the ground. How did you get it off the ground like that?
Yeah, I mean,
All right, but that wasn't my question, just so you know.
okay. Well, let me.
Or I mean, let's do that one. But I think like when I met you, like the reason why I was like so impressed with who you were is because you had it was brand new kind of, you were starting this thing out and then you built it to what it is now, which is like a brand. Like that's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard from it was just you.
Yeah.
So I think that's impressive.
So look, I think I've seen you post birthday parties, right? But how cool would it be if every time because entrepreneurs, we're always grinding, right? Yeah. And you're always busy and you don't have time to go out and do all kind of shit like that all the time. But when you have a big win, you even talked about it. You want to celebrate and like pat yourself on the back just for fucking one night, right? Like I deserve this shit. And I think I would hit you up like, yo, I'm trying to drop this and have,
Where are we going?
Yeah, because I fucking had a win. So talking about winning, and that was the thought I was going to hold on to. Can you guys talk about winning? What is winning? How do you treat winning?
Well,
what do you do after you win?
I feel like what's your winning? I kind of want to know. Like how do you do that?
How do I win? What do you mean?
Well, just saying, like
when you
with
have
this question.
when you have a win and you celebrate.
Yeah. I mean, I see nightlife, right? So everyone, there's you're either partying the party, right? You're either a degenerate out here, or you're actually like celebrating big accomplishment shit. 80% of people are bullshit in my world. And so I know the people that are actually doing things, actually doing cash flow, and people that are pretending and, so it's a very different world. But like, I only try now to celebrate wins on when I'm doing stuff on my other business. So like when I close deals, I go out, I buy everybody everything. Because I used to party like a degenerate, and it was like a very slippery slope as far as just like, you're just like, what am I fucking doing here?
This is like a level of maturity. When you're young in your 20s, you go out for no reason. Now, when you're in your 30s, you only go out when you have a big win.
And so I asked him, like, when you first started compared to now, like, I'm way more impressed with how you are now because of you. We did all that stuff out, and you're very low. You're not low key as in your business is low key, but what you're doing, like as yourself, you're more low key. Like you're learning through all.
Yeah,
this
it's tough because I have to be a marketer for Gatsby, right? So people get this like impression of me of just like doing cool, fun shit, and like I have to just like present that. But like behind the scenes, it's a very different. Like most people don't know who I am.
Let's invite the whole whoever's watching this and wherever you guys clip this off to. If you're an entrepreneur and you have a big win, then hit this motherfucker up, right?
Yeah, let's go party.
He's got
Let's
you.
go
Makes
celebrate.
sense. He's got you.
Because like, okay, how do you guys feel about that though? Sales, right? When you have a win, do you just like say, fuck it, that was what's supposed to happen, and then, you know, just go on to the next and the next and the next? Or do you stop for a second so you don't burn out and you kind of have those little celebratory, right?
For me personally, like I don't like to usually go out during the week, but if we have a big day where we break records, like I will personally go out and have fun for myself, because I feel like not only should you do that for yourself, but also reward the people on that day so they know that that's a good thing to do.
Pavlov's theory. You treating them like dogs now. If you do something good, I'll pat you on the head, boy.
Hey, I mean, but it's like in anything in life, you want to, it's more about like positive criticism. So think about like any other jobs you guys have or had before, like how like you do something good, it just,
And you're
that's
not,
your job.
and you go unnoticed. Oh,
You want to do that again? Do you want me to work
tear
really
my
hard to
heart
get,
out.
you know, and not even a good job type of thing? But why I love working for my company is you get rewarded when you do good. You know, like that's the whole point of wanting to work hard. You want to see some type of light at the end of the tunnel on that occasion, right?
in corporate, the only reward for a job well done is more work. But we're saying the opposite. We're saying, okay, more work, but
hand
celebrate
in
your
hand.
fucking ass off. with
Yeah,
him,
you gotta
right?
celebrate, man.
And
So,
take care of the people that are
for sure.
close to you too.
Yeah.
But how do you, okay, we're saying all this, but how do you think guys like Kobe and Jordan, and do they take a minute to celebrate? Like I heard Jordan smokes a cigar right before a game. Like I don't know.
Different
Like,
definitions, I guess.
but does Kobe, the mama mentality, does he take any time off to like look back at the win?
Honestly, actually, you had a thought. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's so just winning, man. So we're talking about like what
Winning.
everyone does and kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I think as far as me personally, because we're all going on like personal aspects of it,
Yeah,
it's just
winning.
probably have a good dinner, go back, reflect on it, learn something, and apply it, and just adapt. Because we're not in the
agree.
field that I'm in. You're not technically supposed to win, right? You're going against the government, and the government has unlimited resources, millions and millions of dollars. They have all the evidence. They have the detectives. They got the cops. They have everything, witnesses. Your job is to go there and combat that. So it's one man or whatever versus the government. And so it's just when you win and when you beat someone who's like
Feels
they're
double
looking
good.
at life, and exactly, yeah. So that feeling, man, it's different. It's not
David
about like
against
But
Goliath.
you
Yeah.
said that all you do is just have a really nice dinner and then get back to the fucking grind tomorrow.
100%. Yeah. What I do though, what I love to do is I get into a sensory deprivation tank.
What is
That's
that?
what I get
Elaborate.
into, man. That's
Tell
the
us
fucking
about
best.
that.
Okay, so-
that's like Dragon Ball Z hyperbolic chain.
It's a
shit.
Joe Rogan thing where he goes in. Yeah.
So there's one right here in Costa Mesa. I used to go to the one in Pasadena. So what it is, it's you get into this tank, right? It's like a giant refrigerator door. You take a shower, you go in there, it's all private, and you just get butt naked and you lay down in this. It's about 3 feet of water with about 4,000 pounds of salt. So you're super buoyant and you float and you close the door. It's pitch black. The water temperature is the same temperature of your body. So you can't see anything, you don't smell, you don't hear, and you lose the feeling of your body in that water. So you're just in your own mind.
That's incredible.
And so like you can just, most of the days, unless you're meditating, there's still distractions when you meditate because you can hear, you can smell. But in that tank, there's absolutely nothing going on but you in your own head. So you can just get in there for an hour and that could feel like a long time or it could feel like 5 minutes. And you just reflect and you just learn and just try to be better every single day. So I do that as much as I can.
Well, what do you do to prep yourself to be on the right train of thought so you don't go into all kind of dumb thoughts?
Yeah, and that's what's the hard part, right? So, because you can have some difficult cases with like some gnarly stuff, but how do you not let that affect you? And how do you do a good job representing and defending that person? So just putting those human thoughts on the side and focusing on the task at hand. And that's why doing something like that helps a lot. Just compartmentalizing it and be like, okay, doesn't matter, whatever the case may be, you have a job to do and just not get into your own head. Focus on that. And even if you're in trial and you got 12 random jurors, you got to convince that the prosecution hasn't met their burden. You got to make sure that your head is in the game. Focus on it instead of getting in your own head and self-doubt and stuff like that. Because that's not
Do
going to
you
get
guys
anywhere.
meditate at all? Anybody? Do you take an hour out of your day to just
I
sit
think
there?
it's fucking bullshit.
Try
So-
the tank, man.
I think the tank would be super cool.
That's pretty dope.
That was amazing, bro. I didn't even know
tank is
that shit
different.
existed.
That's healing right there.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
different.
Wait, you
That's
said it was
nice.
in what city?
So they have one right here in
Yeah,
Costa
give him
Mesa.
a shout out.
Costa
Yeah,
Mesa?
yeah, yeah.
Fuck, dude,
There's
that
one in
sounds
Pasadena,
super
but
cool.
There's one right here, yeah.
So how long have you been doing that for?
Do I try to do at least a couple times a month for years? Yeah.
So it's interesting. I don't meditate, but I manifest every day.
Oh, okay, that's
There you go.
different.
Yes,
I do
let's get to that.
affirmations. I do affirmations.
So, but when I said meditation, because I've done that before, and I would consider that meditation.
For sure.
Because you're
Sorta,
sitting there
right, yeah.
for I mean, think about when was the last time
You just sat there.
for an hour and you didn't even look at your phone. There's no one talking to
But
you.
the fact that you can't feel anything is just kind of cool.
It's great, man.
Yeah,
You're
you
in
feel
your
like
own mind.
it's out of body experience.
Yeah,
That's, I mean, I love that.
But
too.
I'm not with the meditation shit. But
we
if
have
you say
different definitions.
manifesting and affirmations, then
Let's
I'm
talk
on board.
about it.
I do
wanna-
that too.
I feel like I got to hear your opinion about this. You're pretty motivated when you said that.
All right. When you say I am a billionaire, or I'm gonna be a billionaire, or I will be a billionaire, you're at least shooting for that, right? You're shooting for
Putting it out in the
something.
universe.
But if you never say that and you never have that expectation and you never wanted to be a world champion, you'll never be a world champion because that wasn't where your
Yeah,
mind
but
was
there's
at.
a difference between saying I'm a billionaire and not doing anything to actually get
But
there.
wait.
Okay,
I have a
I'm saying just to fucking say it is enough to give you a spark of hope.
Give us an example of how you manifested something in your life, because I'm curious.
All I do is I just write down a list of shit that I want to do, right? And it might take longer to get to some of those things to cross them
happen?
off, but they all happen because I'm going toward it. I'm not like going away from it, or it's not like it's not written down on the list. It's there. I know that that's what I have to do. So I agree with affirmations because it's like writing a list of, it's like a checklist. Affirmations to me is a checklist. Like, I will do this. I will do that. I will do this. And I do them all. Unless you quit, and nobody's a fucking quitter.
No one here is
You
a
believe
quitter.
it works, man. I believe in it for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm not with the meditation, but definitely with manifesting or affirmation.
Well, manifestation is also the backward trajectory of the goal.
Yeah.
Right?
Reverse engineering.
Yeah,
reverse
yeah.
engineering.
Totally.
So I have to understand what I have to do on a daily basis in order to manifest that goal every single day.
Okay, not to get too religious or something, but I heard something in the Bible. God was like, I gave you the plan, the big picture, but not the process. Because I needed you to figure the process out on your own, because you're going to fucking bump your head a million times. And if I told you the process and you would see how hard that shit actually was, you'd be like, fuck the plan, bro.
It's the same thing
I don't
like
want the
the
throne.
Matrix, like with like the Oracle and stuff. I can show you the door. You got to walk through it.
Yeah.
Same thing.
You have to do the part that's like the figuring out part, because if they gave you that figuring out part,
You're gonna mess it
you would
up.
say, oh, it's too hard. It's not worth it.
Okay, so all these entrepreneurs here, I've obviously manifested. What would you give a guy who's young, trying to obviously make money? What's like a manifestation technique or something that they can apply in their lives?
So I say the tank for sure. Go to the Century Deprivation Tank. Just tune out all the negative thoughts. Or some people, believe it or not, that I've talked to are afraid to do that because they're afraid to get into their own head and they got to battle those demons. So don't put it aside. Deal with it now. Go out there, fail as many times, and every time you fail, you're going to learn something and adapt and just apply it.
All right, you just hit that one. You answered the question. Go out there and fail as many times as you can until you
100%.
get a
You're
win.
afraid to fail.
Yeah.
So all it takes is one win, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because if you fail and you're too afraid to go out there and start your own business, then you're never going to go anywhere. You're going to work for someone. to
every
make them
time
rich.
you fail, right, you're getting smarter, right?
100%.
So like you're learning. Oh, don't do that again. Don't
Back
do
to what
this
you
again.
said. Anyone that's successful in your life, they will never tell you they never failed.
Right, just
That-
like Michael
they would be
Jordan,
lying.
Kobe, everybody, they all failed, man.
They failed a lot more,
exactly.
but the wins, they're just
All right, so
substantial
for all
wins.
these voodoo fucking horoscope bitches out there and shit that think that we don't fucking know anything about the spiritual world, we are
Capricorn,
way,
let's go, baby.
yeah, we're
Yeah, same.
more, way more on top of it than you ladies realize.
We got our energies aligned. Chakras, let's go.
Where's Josh going? He got annoyed with the fucking spirituality shit. Your aura's off, motherfucker.
Go realign your energy.
This is what I'll hint on.
Yeah,
to,
go ahead.
For the question that Josh asked about regarding young entrepreneurs, first of all, the failing is an absolute necessity. You have to fail. The more times you fail, the faster you can get to actual success. And the whole point is to fail, to learn from that failure, to not do it again.
Right.
So you have to do that, right? And it's a character building aspect. When I started the company about 3.5, 4 years ago, compared to now, my memories are about when we were building the company. Right, that was the fun time. Even though it was torment at the time and all the sacrifice and everything, the memories was during the building phase. We're still building. Obviously, we got a lot more to do, but we've hit a certain threshold that during all of that process, that was the fun time.
Right.
Now it's just I have to make decisions, and those decisions influences people's lives, children, and families.
It's a trip, man.
So it's freaking crazy.
Yeah.
For you as a man and a boss, would you recommend that, hey, to get to where you're at, this is probably what happened to you, though. You have to be able to take criticism and not look at it like it's negative. Like your mindset, you have to change
what?
it.
The thing, the criticism part, yes, but who are you going to get criticism from?
So you got to surround yourself with the people you trust.
You got to have mentors because everybody's looking up to what the next move is.
Okay. Do you take advice from anybody that's making less than you?
Absolutely not. Huge. Absolutely not.
But do you
Absolutely not.
agree or disagree that everyone can teach you something?
Absolutely, for sure. But if you're going to give me money advice, you
Oh,
got to
yeah,
be
yeah.
making more money than
Sorry.
me. Now, on a different aspect, of course, you know, can you learn from somebody? Obviously, if you're not like that, you're arrogant, and you got to be coachable. If you're not coachable, you rot.
You ain't gonna move up.
So,
too
but yeah,
quick.
if we're talking about that, no.
Yeah, I agree.
That's fair. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, to conclude, young entrepreneurs, failing and then happiness is a temporary emotion, right? So you're
Oh,
never
let's
going to
talk
be happy.
more about that,
You're not going to be
though.
happy all the time.
Let's talk about that a little bit because I feel like the billionaires, they're usually pretty miserable, right? Because they intentionally put themselves in that state to get to that tough.
Or motivation's very fleeting, so you need to create that
is
every day.
just enough. You're right. And you know
Yeah.
what's deeper than the motivation, actually, what we talked about on the 1%er call is fulfillment, right? Fulfillment will exceed all that other stuff. And on top
purpose,
of
too.
that is vision, right? So you need to have a vision. Vision, no matter if you're tired, fatigued, unmotivated, your vision should be so clear that every day should be a building block towards it.
Yeah, I love
so
that.
it's vision. What is your vision?
Is it like saying one thing, like this is the vision, and then every day I'm going to repeat this so I can clarify this vision?
and work
Hold
and
yourself
work towards
accountable.
it. Correct.
I think that's what the affirmations is for me.
I love that part of it because it's literally you're waking up every day, holding yourself accountable that you're going to have a certain mindset throughout the day. And I always tell all my employees, like, your day starts with how your mindset is, and you gotta hit the ground running, be positive, be motivated, and work hard. And if you don't do that every day, you're not gonna be
I
the
think
best.
if you can't keep yourself accountable and respect yourself, nobody else should respect you.
100%.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay, I want to
100%.
touch on that. Okay, so I was gonna ask the question of like I think there was a question on here too. What separates, like, you should be able to answer this, and you too. What separates the winners in your organization from rising to be the cream of the crop versus the other 29, and that one person is doing like fucking going to the moon, and then so like. Yeah, what differentiates that person? And then Josh just kind of hit on it is that shit comes from inside. They hold themselves to that accountability, not because you told them, right? So can we talk about holding yourself accountable and also why the winners are the winners?
So the best part about that is I think in a way the winners don't even realize they were meant to be winners. For me personally, like I never liked growing up, never wanted to be in the leadership role, never wanted to be in charge of anything. And I was always pushed into those roles, always in my whole life. I was always got, promoted to manager, this and that. And being, turning 30 and realizing that that is my position I need to be in. And when you rise to the occasion, I think that's going to work a lot better. But believing in yourself, you have to be your biggest
Cheerleader.
You have to, because if not, there's a lot of people that will let you down. Family, friends, whatever. But you have to be able to look at yourself in the mirror, do affirmation, do whatever you got to do, and just realize, like, no, and I'm not better than anybody, but you're not going to tell me that I'm not going to be the person I know I can be.
I wanna get to that question again with you, but then this is the one thing that kind of sparked my thought. You said vision, right? Vision is your vision, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to be able to sell your vision to other people so that you have more people behind you
Great
with that
question.
same vision, right? That's
Massive.
So how would you
Massive.
do that?
So-
How do you motivate your team, I guess?
So the motivation of the team is, first of all, I meet everybody where they're at. See, when I started the company at first, I was pushing massive success, that we got to be one of the fastest growing ever. Now we're the top 50, but fastest growing. Like, we got to do this. We're young studs.
Just
we
by
can take over
your
anybody
words.
just by the words. But that didn't influence people enough, right? It's whatever their vision. Some people are happy making another 6-7 G's a month and living cool. So you have to ask people what is their vision and effectively communicate with them to put a plan of action so they can achieve that.
So as a
When they
manager,
do
you
that,
you think that's a good thing to do every day.
Okay, but hold on. You, in the very beginning of the podcast, said, what does this person need? You're saying what their vision is. Sometimes their vision is like kind of low, right? And they don't expect high of themselves. So you set their bar a little higher. And then, so where's that balance of, let me set your bar higher, motherfucker, versus what do you really need out of life?
But also, doesn't everybody play their part?
Wait. That's the question I got. That's what I want the answer to.
Remember this, though. Remember this. People will never believe in the leader if the vision is not there, right? They only believe in the leader as much as the vision. That's why you see Elon Musk. That's why you see all those guys that
that's
are
why
doing
you see-
incredible
that's why you
things.
see our
But
company.
you
That's why we see our company.
You said you
also,
were selling it, right? But people weren't
But also this too.
The wrong correct. The wrong individuals were
the wrong individuals.
So what did I have to do? I had to continue to ABT, always be talking, right, and continue to.
Wait, when you say
continue to
wrong
talk.
individuals, you mean don't waste my time with the 90% anymore? Let me
What?
find that
I left them
10%.
where they were. I left them where they were at. The people who my vision articulated to certain individuals was too overwhelming and too demanding.
They weren't. They didn't have the same.
They didn't
mindset
have
as
that.
you.
So when I started
ready for it.
to influence the right people, and when my guys who I've known for 10, 15 years, when I articulated to them, things start different. So from your experience, from what's the vision of the company right now for the main guys, my 10 managers?
The vision of the company is growing the company, creating profitable agents, and being able to scale this thing on a whole nother level. But one thing that I will take away from Rob has spoken on this on a whole nother level. You talk about winners and losers in a company. It comes down, and this is what Rob speaks on every single day: habitual habits. Habitual habits are key. What are your habitual habits that separate you?
I think the
from
number one
rest?
habit every person sells is just how long are you on the phone, just looking for new
Consistency.
opportunities. But I wanted to ask you too. So they were saying that the 10%, right? And then the overwhelming burden of that big vision that you had for the other 90%. So you left them where they were at. So the whole overwhelming people with your grand vision and like knowing who to go to, like you probably experienced that. Tell us more about that.
So I don't think my company is as big as Rob's company. So he's probably scaling more than 30 plus employees.
Yeah, about 600.
Okay, so for me, it's a lot easier to do that. So
Yeah.
at the bottom level, you go and you need to find out what gets that person going, and you give them all the right tools. And then as a way, they're going to weed themselves out if they're not really meant for that role. That's okay, but the reason why I always give them a chance, and I don't judge people right away in the first week or two, you give them time, because the best closers that make the most money for my company, Scott, for example, started off terrible. Now he's been the top closer for 9 months, and I'm
I
like,
agree.
damn,
Same
thank
here.
God I give him the chance.
So-
Me too. Like it takes time to build.
Do
these
you agree
things.
with what he's saying?
I do agree with what he's saying. I do agree with what he's saying. Did
Like
you
the guy-
continue to nurture, show him tools, and did he figure that out himself as well?
Absolutely.
Or were you
So the guy from the very first day, he's like, throw me the ball, I can catch it, coach.
Those
give
are
me the
almost
ball.
the worst.
Yeah,
But
those are the jacks.
Those are
Yeah,
not.
those are the
I'm like,
jacks.
oh God. Sometimes that works, but like 99% of the time, it's like, it's not gonna. You shouldn't have to be like that if you're good at what you do. So there's a lot. I mean, that's why in this area of life, it's hard to get along with a lot of people, because everybody looks like they're living the lifestyle.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it,
He said that too.
are you doing
80%
it?
of people are full of
If,
shit.
if anybody,
Absolutely.
he definitely knows.
Yeah. No, I've met a lot of people that I was like, oh my God, they're doing this and that, and I find out, oh, they're in lawsuits, they lost it. Like,
Okay, but we're not
like-
talking about the lifestyle. We're talking
Yeah.
about the drive. Some people are like faking that initial stint, right? They got the motivation.
people weed themselves out real quick. That's why I think we were saying this earlier, like real recognize real, and people can only put a facade up for so long, because you can't live your life like that. It's exhausting.
Okay, let's talk about performance, right? Those people are actually performing while the other person's talking just to get the, initial
Foot in the door or whatever.
right? Right.
It's actually fire point.
Performance speaks for itself.
Incredible.
actions speak louder than
business,
words. Yeah.
in our business, it's all about the numbers, right? The actual core data.
Do you guys have like a thing where every employee can
Oh,
see
yeah.
your
Absolutely.
Oh,
Oh,
man, that's
I
compensation.
blast that
Yeah.
everywhere.
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
Hey, you got 10 calls, you didn't close a deal. What's
I
going
blast
on?
that
Oh, you
everywhere.
got 8 deals and you cut 5, 6 calls. Like, yes, that's good.
Absolutely.
You have to.
You have to
It
be
motivates
motivated.
people.
Absolutely.
And I've
Does
had
it?
closers
The
say,
best, right?
Literally, they said, keep doing that more, because when someone's getting more deals than me, and sometimes you don't realize it, it's like, what the hell? Like, no, I need to step this up. And then they'll get
I want to
deals.
say this.
FOMO, fear of missing out.
I love that.
I saw
Yep.
this. I saw this question, and I think I answered it incorrectly and not genuine. And the question went along the lines of like, when you see other people that are successful, are you like angry
Never.
at that? And that's how I answered it. But I think I was wrong. I think I should have said, yes, I fucking hate that shit. Because Mamba mentality would be that way. But
But
like, fuck that motherfucker. I don't
you're
want to
not
hear
mad
about
at
him.
them.
No. But the thing is like, if you're in constant competition, the competitive spirit that comes out with seeing the numbers and shit, you get angry when you see somebody beating you,
But what do
right?
you get
but
angry
you,
at, though?
you said, oh, I don't care if he's doing better than
I'll
me.
tell you why,
I disagree with everything
I'll,
you're saying right now.
I'll tell you though, because like, what are you getting angry at?
Don't just say you disagree.
No,
say why you disagree.
I'll tell you, like, from my perspective, I feel the same way, but it's all about perspective. So do I get angry at the person, or I'm angry at myself that I'm letting someone do the things I know I
Does it
could
matter
do?
why you're angry? Anger is anger. You're feeling this feeling.
it matters.
And I mean, I think as long as you're using it for good, right?
I mean, it doesn't matter the end result.
You
but
don't
I'm
want to be
saying-
toxic and be like, I want to kill that person or slash his tires.
But it's
You're like, I want
can
to
do what
beat
they're
that
doing.
person.
Why is that person's not better than me at what I'm doing? So maybe I was being lazy. Maybe I got comfortable. So I think you got to be able to check yourself constantly. Like
I think it's okay to get angry at people doing better than you as long as
No, dude,
it's
no.
motivating
Yeah, I don't
you.
feel like I don't
like that
agree
at
with
all.
that. Yeah.
Look, this is what I love about capitalism is cash flow
You're being
doesn't lie.
politically
Cash
correct
flow
right
doesn't
now.
lie. If you're making a lot of money, there's a reason. It's really hard to make a lot of money. So there's a reason why you're doing that. And I will never, anybody that's making more money than me, it's like, tip to the hat. Like,
Facts.
congrats. Like, I want to
But
like,
no, you kind of said it. Are you getting mad at yourself? I think, yeah, you're right. I'm getting mad at myself. Like, why am I?
They're not better.
Yeah,
than
they're
me.
not better than me. So why can't I do that well too? And then not just say it.
Yeah,
do
it.
something
Well, that's
about it.
what the top people do.
I
They
think
just
the
do it.
answer you're giving is so politically correct, right? Like, oh, if they're doing better than me, I'm not mad at
there's
them.
haters everywhere. Like most people
No, I'm
probably
not talking
have that
about being
attitude.
a hater though. There's a difference between what you're saying, like mad at the fact that you're not
Like,
using
you know
your
you can
full
do
potential.
it. You believe in yourself. You're like, I know I could be doing whatever sales they're doing. Why am I not doing that right now? And a lot of times I'll look at myself and be like, okay, I'm getting a little comfortable. I wasn't really trying.
And
that
you know
hard,
what's the formula to that? This even for your sales force right now, accountable sales force. Everybody must reassess every quarter.
Absolutely.
If you reassess every quarter, you're back to the drawing board and you're moving things. So that is how you scale and increase your revenue.
So you're
every
saying-
quarter you
That's
must
probably what you
review.
did to scale.
That's
so
exactly
quickly.
what we did.
So
You
you're
have to,
saying
yeah.
like every individual has to continually progress.
You must. You
Can't
know,
even-
Socrates
can't
said.
employ people like
Socrates said, when you as long as a man continues to evolve, he's okay. When he doesn't evolve, he's not
Yeah,
okay.
slow progress is still progress.
But
for sure.
back to the competition. How does that? How much better does that make your company? Does it even make it better?
What competition?
Yeah.
It's
friendly
sales.
competition, absolutely. Because everybody in sales, you no matter what, it doesn't have to be from. A
Let's say
negative side.
hypothetically you took that away right now. That would be a bad idea, right?
That would be a bad idea.
People will get
because
comfortable.
comfort and
Yeah.
comfort
Yeah.
kills. You
Like,
know,
you get comfy in your spot, you get knocked out of it. And
Comfort
anything
kills.
in life, you have to feel uncomfortable to grow. You have to.
Ooh, that's another whole fucking tangent. Is the
into it.
comfort zone. So I don't think anything really scares me unless I see a lion in my face, right? But what puts you so out of your comfort zone that you're like, fuck,
Going
this
back
is
to my old
miserable.
life, thinking.
No,
thinking
but
you
not
can
in a
backtrack.
negative way. Like something stoic, right? That puts you out of your comfort zone.
I don't have a good answer for that.
Like maybe fasting or
something that puts me back on track.
like stoic, like something that's hard, that takes discipline, that puts you out of your comfort zone in a positive way.
Making hard decisions.
I'd say trying something new.
Trying
You're
something
afraid of
new.
trying.
I think
you know
that-
what I mean?
yeah.
Where it's like, can I handle that? Am I capable of doing that?
Because it's
Just going there and
I don't
doing
know
it
if I
and
can
finding
do
out.
it, but
Right.
maybe I can.
You don't
Maybe
know
I'll
until
try
you
it.
know, and sitting back and be like, me, I missed that opportunity or something. But no, you got to capitalize on it and just not have fear. And I think what we were talking about earlier is the reason why some people don't make it to the top because of fear. It's the biggest
That
deterrent
will
of
kill
ever.
all your
So,
dreams. For
yeah,
sure.
you just got to go out there and do it, and then
Be okay
see
with
what
not,
happens.
not
Exactly.
having it work. Right?
I'm gonna edit this list because I have another question that I think is good. All the entrepreneurs out there, I suffered from this. I'm sure everyone did. Imposter syndrome. What happened in your life that you kind of were like, okay, I'm no longer an imposter in my syndrome that I've created?
Oh man, I'm gonna answer the first one. David, let's hear David. Let's hear David.
Absolutely. So
Think about the experiences, everything we talked about. Keep this one.
Like, did you ever have to fake it till you made it?
absolutely. Absolutely.
Touch the
In what
imposter-
ways,
Touch
though?
the imposter
Yeah.
syndrome.
So I felt like I had to be something for everybody else at the end of the day. And when I started realizing who I was and what I had to offer individuals personally, then I no longer cared about what other people thought. And so I had to go through crazy life experiences to be able to understand that. I ended up losing a lot of people out of my life that were fake people that I was looking to impress, and I was looking to be somebody who I wasn't, just to be in that field.
All right, you're
But
hitting
also-
on the most important
but
point of
here-
this whole
hold on,
podcast
hold
is
on,
not
hold on.
caring what anyone thinks.
But here's the cool part: aligning myself with the right individuals
You have the same
to
goal
be
as
able
you.
to help me understand my true
the
potential.
5 people you're around the most is who you become exactly like.
Exactly.
You're around 5
Exactly.
millionaires. you're the sixth person, you're gonna be the sixth millionaire. Like hanging around those people really do affect who you are. Like your friends are super important. And the older you get, I feel like, I'll give you an example for when I first moved here and you first met me. I didn't know what the hell we were doing or anything. I came to a first poker game. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, there's a chef here. People are, doing all this. But what I've learned from being here over 3 or 4 years now, you always, when you first come into this lifestyle, you try to portray yourself a certain way because you think that's what everybody's doing and you want to fit in. And a lot of times you realize 99% of the people aren't even anything what they're posting on Instagram. They don't have money. They're struggling. And that's okay. But it's like, once you realize what David said, like you start to align yourself with the people that are just authentic and real, your ego takes a little bit of a hit and you humble yourself. And I think that's how you grow. Like that's how you mature.
That's a strong point, actually. Real quick, what was your experience on that situation that happened? Who was around you, and the same with you?
I mean, geez, it was like everyone that we used to hang out with, like just people always talk a really big game until it comes down to like, to give you an example, there's
performance comes down to performance, right?
100%. Yeah. Not even just performance, but like on like I think you were asking like an individual, like outside of sales situation. Mm-hmm. I mean, I had times where I looked up with people that we both know that they look like they live in the lifestyle. And then we go out to the bar and they're saying, hey, Evan, like, can you please just pay for my beer? I'm like, I thought you had money. What's going on? Why am I picking up all the bills every time we go? And I wasn't very, starting off, I wasn't making a ton of money. I'm like, damn, these people were supposed to be like, thought you were balling type of thing. But
let's go back to these 2 points of, you are the 5 people you hang around with.
I want to talk about that, the 5 people. So when I started Gatsby, knew nobody, right? I wasn't in the scene. I've been trying. I never want to be the most successful guy in the room ever. Like I want always to be the guy in the bottom and always have like 4 or 5 guys like you guys that are all succeeding. If I can do that in life and always just have, like you said, the 5 guys around you and I'm always the worst one, eventually I'm going to be the billionaire.
You're going to be solid.
Billionaire.
Because you're only taking from those better, like if you're playing ping pong with someone who's way better than you, you're only going to get better and he's not going to get any better.
Probably why you scaled so well is because you did what he was saying, but also now you attracted those 5 people under you and now they're growing with you.
Correct.
Probably, David, correct me if
happened.
I'm wrong, that's probably that situation.
That's exactly what happened. Yep.
And
What was it? That was actually a good point. Actually, you nailed it right on top. From your lens, what did you see when that was happening? Because sometimes I'm unconscious of it because I'm in the moment, right?
So being able to just stick with those guys, to be able to pour all that love and energy, but to have also all of us aligned to his vision. We understood what the vision was. We understood what we needed to do, and we executed.
Did you notice other guys that weren't as serious as the vision that you were sold? Like these guys don't believe it as much as I do, Or like how do you know when somebody really sees it, or if they're just like, all right.
I mean, who's sitting next to Rob too?
Numbers and data don't lie at the end of the day.
Okay, so it's back to performance then.
All the people get weeded out very easily.
Well, the performance, they'll still perform. Look, they all were performers.
Well,
they're all performers, but
that's tricky.
they'll be too loud, and you got to pay attention to body and the eyes. Everything is in the eyes, right? When I was talking or when I was on stage, I'd see specific people that were in my organization because I'm always the youngest one.
Wait, does it matter? If their performance is all the same and they're still winners?
Of course it is because they're a threat to the company.
Exactly. And also, what do you want out of
The
them?
eyes, man. That's an interesting point.
The eyes.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
You can see.
Okay,
you can
wait,
see the
you can see the
devious
soul.
envy.
But elaborate.
What's more a more important point is if the guy is still an A performer and he's not totally sold to the vision of the company, but he's still fucking bringing in numbers for you, it almost doesn't fucking matter. Whatever he's doing is working for him,
And
but you're
that's true.
saying
But
it
he's
could bring the
playing it-
company down. I don't
Because it's
see.
not that
I don't
black
see
and
how.
white.
Okay, tell me
Yeah, I wanna hear what you have to
why does
say.
this guy have a threat of bringing the company down when he's constantly
Because
bringing
he's
you
got
numbers?
intel,
and because a rotten apple will always spoil the rest.
which is exactly what started to happen.
That's why negative energy.
But
you gotta cut that
loyalty
out.
and vision was too strong to where he ended up being a moron.
That's what Rob has against all the rest, is loyalty and vision.
I agree with that because I think you're very successful, so I feel like you've been in a lot more situations that I have with people like that. The best part is you learn real quick who's going to move up and who's just going to play their role.
Mm-hmm.
Do you always want to be a sales rep? I never wanted to do that. I'm not aligning myself with that. But do I have amazing sales rep that don't agree with the overall? Maybe, but they're amazing. You're going to always be a sales rep. what more do you want out of life?
But
do you want to grow with the company?
But
or?
look, we were on this train of thought. Okay, look, you have this team. You said a rotten apple will spoil the rest, right?
100%
This guy
cancer.
is a performer. He's doing good at your company. He's fucking put in numbers, but you know you got to cut him loose. So what do? Just fire him on the spot? How do you handle that?
First, we have a respectful, upfront conversation about the situation, and I tell him exactly what it is, and I tell him how he's influencing in a weird way.
Why? Why do you fucking care? Why? So you just give him one warning.
Because you invested probably
Just
a
one
good amount
warning,
of time with
right?
this
Like
person.
one warning, and then it's like, bro, you're on the fucking way out.
Yeah, but then they're stealing all your resources. They're stealing
Exactly.
the
The intel is
clients.
the
They're
main
stealing
part.
the process. Then
I
you're
feel you on
competing
that.
with them. And
So I'm down to lessen my income and bottom line revenue for the greater good of everybody else who is literally willing to die for the company.
Yeah, that's cancer
So
for
that's
sure.
the difference.
Yeah.
So I'll lose income for the greater good. And you know what?
But
This
how-
is exactly what happened. We actually prayed. I prayed with him and a couple others. And we said, whatever door needs to close, let it close. Literally the next day he bounced. His office was literally closed. We had about a sales force that I've been dripping on for about 6-7 months come in with 4, 5, 6 managers. 30 days we grew like $80,000-$90,000
Amazing.
net.
So
because
you,
the cancer was gone.
you don't see it as being ruthless or mean.
It
You
is
just-
ruthless.
Okay, but you don't see it that way. You just see it as I'm doing God's work. So they can kick rocks for the bigger
it's both.
picture.
It's both.
But
It's
integrity.
both.
So you can't
It's
let
both.
one
Let's
person.
talk about that though, the ruthlessness part, right?
Business is ruthless, especially if you're
has to
really
be.
trying to, my industry, this is the DOJ, the Department of Justice, the Department of Insurance, the DOI. You know what I'm saying? I'm competing with Progressive Nationwide.
I think you have some ruthless talk
these
to talk
crazy,
about.
yeah,
too.
I bet he's got crazy stuff. So this is what we're competing with on this end. Companies that have been around for 100 years. But the vision was clean enough. And my guys were solid enough till we were willing to dream so big that we just
Okay, please
we just went at
elaborate
it.
on being ruthless. Like, will you make it in business if you have a soft personality?
No, because then you're gonna get him who's gonna come through and just whoop that ass.
Yeah, you can't,
right?
be soft, man. If you're soft if you're an employee, but you can't be a boss and you can't have your own business if you're soft because you're not gonna
Look,
get anywhere.
also, I'm dealing with some shit right now on the beef side of social media, which is kind of bullshit. But the truth comes
but
out at the end of the day.
before you ask this question, this is gonna be one of the last questions because the cameras are starting to cut out.
Okay.
So yeah, I know where you're going with this. Is this for him?
Yeah, let's end off on you because the ruthlessness of your field is interesting.
Yeah, tell us more about what you see as ruthless or not. And this will be the last question. And your camera's dead already, bro.
I gotcha. So as far as like ruthless goes, just in like the legal field, or what specifically?
I don't know.
So yeah, it's a ruthless. Okay, here's what I've seen. Right, the world that I live in is completely different than the world I'd say 90% of the world lives in. Because I just deal with criminal, right? So I just see and I deal with the worst of the worst. So as far as like what the government's coming after, what people are facing, what people are dealing with. So it's a ruthless world that I live in. And there's a lot of things that can happen, right? Chaos. And I'll give you a couple of examples. I'd say the most pressing example that I got exposed to the ruthless world would be as far as when I was a DA, when I was prosecuting crime, you would see people do the craziest things, man. So,
Okay, this is getting super interesting.
Yeah, depending on where you're at. So I'd say if you want to follow a couple things on Facebook, some DA's office posts like what they do.
Tell us about the ruthless lawyers, not the
Yeah.
people in general, just
Yeah.
the lawyers and the attributes that they have to exude of being ruthless in.
That's good.
I gotcha. So as far as there's two different like lenses you can look at, right? The first is ruthless as far as being a businessman and being an attorney. And the other type is being ruthless as far as being a human being.
Mm-hmm.
So you can, as an attorney, you're exposed to a lot of power and a lot of money for people, right? So let's say a hypothetical question would be someone gets a personal injury lawsuit.
Assuming being ruthless is still being ethical, right? Like,
You can.
yeah, I'm not saying do something unethical, but I'm
Right.
saying, go ahead.
Yeah, you got to be
But you have to deal with attorneys that kind of do that gray line of
right, and that's when it gets
That's the
tricky.
ethical.
So it's tricky. It's not
Yeah.
like you could say be ethical and be ruthless.
you can't. No, you can't. So
Gotta
you got
differentiate.
root.
So,
Exactly.
but it's not necessarily be unethical. Ruthless means just
Maybe you work hard, you don't give up.
Right.
There's
you.
different
Maybe you're like a
definitions.
martyr or like a missionary. What's that
Yeah.
shit? Crusader, where you're cutting heads off, but you're doing it in God's name. You know.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about earlier. What I would agree with as far as like being ruthless in a business, you would have to in the attorney's aspect of it, because if you're ruthless, in my opinion, it's just not taking no for an answer and fighting 100%. Right, you're going to go into it and you're willing to die for it, and that's where I think you're ruthless in that.
Why are
regard.
you willing to die for it? Because of you
That
just
passion.
just because you have that competitive spirit and
It's-
you just
yeah.
this is what you want to do, or is it because you see this grand vision that God gave you to say that, yo, man, people depend on you.
Both.
Like
Yeah.
your
Fuck
integrity
these,
and your
fuck these
morals.
little scumbags that fucking, I could murk him and it wouldn't matter.
That's probably
But
a good question though. Why did you get into what you got into?
To
That's
help
very
people.
interesting.
Yeah, to help people out. So I've seen it, right? So everyone knows someone who's been in trouble with the law, been in jail and stuff like that, and they're not really dealt with fairly. So it's all about helping people out. But as far as what you're saying, you have to have both. You have to just be ruthless in that regard, but you also have to have a vision that you're working for and like God's plan, right? Why do you wake up every day and do what you do and hustle and grind? It's for a bigger picture, but
Vision.
you also have to like not give
purpose,
up.
vision,
And exactly
dream.
that purpose drives you. But what's different in this
Purpose.
aspect is the fact that people are depending on you. And you can't just fail yourself. You're failing them and their family, and it's a lot of heavy things that go with it.
That's what I feel like drives. I don't know.
I think that's
Could
a
you
good
elaborate
question, though.
on the ruthless part? Like ruthless. Like why are you ruthless? Is it because of the bigger vision, or is it because of like shit? Cameras
And
died.
that's a wrap. Thanks, G's. Appreciate you all.
Appreciate
Love
you
you
all.
all. Thanks for coming.
Boom, boom.
Yeah, we could have been here for another 3 hours. Let's get going.
That was great talk.